Ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed of making the world a better place. Whether that was by becoming a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, I knew I wanted to help people. But I also knew that this wouldn't come for a very long time. But what if helping people could be instant and as easy as chewing gum? Project 7 gum, that is. Because with Project 7, you can help people all around the world live, give, and smile. Today, we will unwrap the history of the Project 7 company, take a bite into the delicious products Project 7 has to offer, chew up the competition, and see just how Project 7 makes a change around the world. Project 7 was founded in 2008 by successful entrepreneur and benefactor Tyler Merrick. Merrick was very intrigued by the idea of exploiting consumerism to help make the world a better place. His ideas on consumerism were that if people are going to buy things, then let's use those things they purchase to help make a change around the globe. Let's make everyday products for everyday people to solve everyday problems all around the world. And so with that, Merrick created a line of products for good that went by the name Project 7. And by far, the most successful of these products are the Project 7 gums. These gums will truly give you something to chew on, literally. With over 30 different flavors that are non-GMO, organic, sugar-free, and American-made, they are definitely the perfect choice for any taste buds. If you want to freshen up your breath, try Project 7's Peppermint Vanilla. Perfect for making your mouth happy and your friend's noses happy as well. Or if you're craving something decadent and delicious, like a slice of cake, but you really don't need those calories, well then close your fridge and reach for Project 7's birthday or wedding cake flavors. With every bite you take, you truly experience eating real cake, as these gums are not only delicious, but they're also long-lasting. And Project 7 even spices things up with their unique flavors, such as their Rainbow Ice or their 3-in-1 Build-A-Flavor combo that provides you with 2 full packs of different flavored gums that can be enjoyed separately or together. Project 7 gums even help you in school. Yes, you heard me right. In a recent study that was conducted in Northumbria, England, it was found that students that chew unusual and extraordinary flavors of gum, such as those of Project 7, tended to have better memory stimulation and scored higher on their exams. The students who chewed Project 7's gums tended to score 30% higher than those who didn't chew gum at all. As you can see, Project 7 truly caters to all of their consumers, whether they're students, adults, kids, truly anyone. And anyone can enjoy Project 7's products, whether it's their mints, their delicious gummy bears that come in their most popular flavors as well as a party mix, or even their good square trail mixes, which come in the delicious flavors Apple Harvest and Urban Trail Mix. Project 7 even betters the world by teaming up with organizations such as the Girl Scout Company. They have recently introduced their new line of gums and mints inspired by the Girl Scout flavors, whether it's the caramel coconut inspired by the Samoas or the ever so popular Thin Mints. Not only are these a hit with the Project 7 fans, but the Girl Scout fans give them the stamp of approval as well. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Where can I find these delicious and amazing flavors? Well, Project 7 makes your search for amazing flavors as easy as possible by selling to 30 different in-store retailers, such as Target, Walmart, and even Starbucks, as well as online retailers such as Amazon and eBay. Clearly, Project 7 is the perfect hit for anyone. But let's see just how Project 7 chews up the competition by comparing them to their 2 main competitors, the Pure Company and Trident. In terms of ingredients, Project 7 and the Pure Company use natural and wholesome ingredients that are natural. However, with Trident, they use artificial flavorings and artificial coloring, 2 things that really shouldn't be going into your body. And in terms of variety, the Pure Company has a mere 9 flavors for the overarching company. And while Trident does have a respectable 25 flavors, it comes nowhere near Project 7's 30 different flavors of gum. And that's for their gum alone. They have many more flavors for their different product varieties. And a pack of Project 7 gum with 12 pieces is priced at $1.19. However, the Pure Company charges you $1.69 for only 9 pieces of gum. With the Pure Company, it seems like you pay more, but you get less. Doesn't quite add up. And while Trident is attractively priced at only 99 cents, you get what you paid for: artificial flavoring and artificial coloring. And sorry to burst your bubble, but Project 7 is also the only company that does any sort of philanthropy. Not only do they help one area of need around the world, but they actually help 7 different areas of need all around the globe. Project 7 has recently teamed up with 11 different philanthropic organizations, such as Feeding America and the Children's Hunger Fund. With these organizations, as well as your purchase of a pack of gum, you can aid these 7 different areas of need. The first one of which being Save the Earth. With this, money is donated to combating deforestation, and Project 7 has already helped save millions of trees and planted many trees around the globe. Next is Feed the Hungry. With this area of need, you can help provide food for impoverished families all around the world. Teach Them Well, make sure that all schools around the United States are getting proper education. And in schools around the world that don't have education that meets the standards, they make sure they're getting the proper need as well. House the Homeless provides homes for families that have suffered from natural disasters. They provide both homes and shelter relief centers. With this, you can truly change people's lives all around the world with just one pack of gum. Quench the Thirsty provides clean water for people both in the United States and abroad, as that's very hard to come by in many nations. And my personal favorite area of need is Hope for Peace. With this, your money can go towards combating bullying and making sure that money is being donated to anti-bullying programs all around the United States. Project 7 wants to make sure that kids in school are not only happy, but they're also healthy and safe as well. And speaking of health, the last area of need is Heal the Sick. With this, Project 7 has donated millions to providing malaria treatment for many nations around the world. As you can see, Project 7's numbers don't lie. They have helped millions of people and saved millions of people all around the world. And they're continuing to do so with your purchase of a pack of gum. By simply purchasing one of Project 7's gums, you can turn over the packaging to the back and follow the instructions that tell you to contact the number 41411. After doing so, you will get an up-to-date statistic after you contact which area of need you have helped. For example, if you purchase the birthday cake flavor, you would text HOPE and see how your money has provided to anti-bullying programs. This connection between consumer and producer has never been seen before, and it truly makes Project 7 a standout with its consumers. As you can see, Project 7 is definitely the perfect choice. Whether it's through its philanthropic endeavors, how it chews up the competition, or just their amazing products and delicious flavors, you truly can't go wrong with one of Project 7's products. So why not go into your local grocery store and purchase one of Project 7's gums? Help people all around the world, change someone's life, and help people all around the globe live, give, and smile with Project 7.
Hi. Did you know that the heart is a muscular blood-pumping organ? Your heart is about the size of your fist. In adults, the average heart is about 5.5 inches long, 3.5 inches wide, and 2.5 inches thick. Your heart weighs about 1.5 pounds, possibly a little bit more for men, possibly a little bit less for women. My name is Art. I have an irregular heartbeat. If I could, I'd call my mother and ask her what I should do about this, but I can't. Because she is dead. Oh, but hey, we're not dead. All of us right here in my little apartment, we're not dead at all. We're alive. For now. For right now, we are alive. In this story, we meet Art, an eccentric cardiovascular patient who struggles to smile in a life rift with misfortune. By inviting us into the intimacy of his home, Art's monologue shows us that the key to overcoming grief is not only a positive outlook, but more importantly, the quality of the relationships we choose to keep. Art's Heart by Anthony Johnson. Everybody has a heart. You do, you do, you do, I do, and so does my little friend here. Everybody, this is Paul. Paul, I'd like you to meet everybody. This is Paul. He's a little fish with a little fish heart. Say hi, Paul. Sorry. Did you know that during its first stages of development, the human heart is very similar to the heart of a fish? It's true. Paul and I make very good roommates because A, we are very respectful of each other's space, and B, I really like to talk and Paul really likes to listen to me. We don't agree on everything though. No siree, Bob, we sure don't. For example, Paul here likes to listen to 19th century classical music and I prefer hip-hop. Paul is a vegan and I eat meat. Paul here is pro-life while I am pro-choice. Paul's favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz and I hate The Wizard of Oz. It doesn't make any sense. How could the Tin Man not even have a heart? And what about the Scarecrow? He doesn't even have a brain. It's funny the thing your brain remembers. I remember throwing my shirt off my dad's boat before he left us. And I remember becoming confused when there were pills in my Cheese Whiz sandwich and eating them anyway. And I remember throwing up a lot. And I remember becoming confused when my mom was bringing me fresh baked chocolate chip cookies into my bedroom in the middle of the night. And I remember every day going to her bedroom after school, opening the curtains and shaking her and trying to wake her up. And I remember the first day my dad left, my mom picked up the phone and threw it against the wall. And that night I brushed her hair for her. It was long and brown. Me and my mom had so much in common. My mom and dad were so much in love. They used to tell each other all the time. They used to say, I love you, you know, I know. I love you, you know, I know. My mom loved my dad, and he was her everything. Of course, my mom drove herself off a cliff. She became so depressed, so sad after my dad left. She got into her little red station wagon and drove herself into the ocean. Isn't that romantic? Paul here tried to off himself once too. Remember that, Paul? That was scary. Picture this. It's Saturday night and I'm just coming with a couple videos for our movie night. When I see that Paul isn't in his fishbowl where he usually is, and then I see that he's on the countertop and he doesn't look so good. He looks so dry and dying. So I called 911 and then they told me to pick him up and put him back in his bowl. And that was all they said. So I picked him up and put him back in his bowl. And at first he wasn't breathing. His eyes were closed. And then like some little miracle, Paul's little eyes opened and he started to breathe again. And I stayed up for 3 days and 3 nights watching him. Remember that, Paul? A few days later, I Googled fish suicide, and apparently, Paul jumped out of his fishbowl because he was unhappy. He's a fish. I don't know. Maybe he got tired of swimming alone in his bowl all the time, or maybe he thought I was never coming home. I can't relate to any of that stuff personally because I'm such a carefree, easygoing, relaxed kind of guy. I mean, I take care of myself and my health and my heart, and I don't really believe in depression. I mean, it's like my dead mother always told me. She told me, Art, life is going to be very, very difficult. Things don't go right, you just buck up and get happy. It's not that hard. It's not that hard! What are you looking at? Oh, you think this is so funny, don't you, Paul? Well, ha ha ha! Listen to me. I own you. You belong to me. I can do whatever I want with you. I can grab that little fishnet over there, pick you up, put you down on a frying pan, and serve you with chips. What are you gonna do about it, Paul? Call Peter! Read my lips. You live in a fishbowl. Oh, I'm a good friend to him. I read him books. I tell him bedtime stories. I even wake you up every Thursday morning for your favorite opera show. I don't even like opera! I don't want everybody to love me. I just want one buddy to love me. I'm not a complete jackass, you know. But don't people deserve to be happy? Don't they? Don't they? I don't want to be alone. I'm tired. Paul, I'm sorry I yelled at you, buddy. I do enjoy opera. It fills me with J-O-Y. Joy. That was my mom's name. Paul, I love you, you know. I know.
Hi, friends! I've got a question for you. Have you ever been frustrated? Tell the truth now. How do you feel when you are frustrated? Do you feel angry? Do you feel sad? I mean, sometimes you can't sleep. That's when you know you're frustrated. Sorry. Well, here is a story for you. Boop. Everybody has dreams. Like when I was 6 years old, I dreamed of either becoming a doctor, a lawyer, or maybe even a lollipop. But regardless of your passions, physical capabilities, or stereotypes in your midst, nothing should stop you from pursuing happiness. The Frog Who Wanted to Be a Singer by Linda Goss. So there's this widow frog who's feeling mighty bad, mighty sad, and mighty frustrated. Now, there's nothing wrong in being a frog. This particular frog feels that he has talent. He's going to be a singer. But in this particular forest where the particular frog lives, the frogs don't sing. Only the birds are allowed to sing. And for a while, frog is cool. Like, totally rad, you know? But then one day, all of this frustration begins to swell inside of him. So he says to himself, "Oh, I'm tired of feeling this way. Well, I've got talent. I want to sing. I can sing, and I'm going to be a singer. Maybe I'll ask the birds to join in their singing group." And so he hops on over to the birdie's house. And there, he knocks on their trunk. The head bird flies out the window to greet him. Oh my God! It's a frog. Hey, little froggy, what brings you here today? Well, I just wanted to know if I could join in your singing group. Oh my God, please. a frog sing with us delicate creatures? You'd be better off carrying our worms. Worms? That's not exactly what I had in mind.
When Frog gets home, he is so sad. He wants to cry. He wants to give up. But he doesn't. Instead, he thinks to himself,
Well, what do I do now? I know. The birds sing every night at the big time weekly concert. But it's Fox who's in charge.
and with one big leap, he hops on over to Brother Fox's house.
Brother Fox? Brother Fox? It's me, Frog.
What's up, broski? What brings you here today?
Brother Fox, I just wanted to know if I could sing in the big concert on this Friday night.
Oh my god, please. A frog sing with that gravelly voice? You better keep your big mouth shut. Actually, we do need an opening act. Meet me here at 8 o'clock. Sharp.
When Frog gets home, he is so excited, and he tells all of his little froggy friends. Soon it is Friday. Frog is so excited that he bathes all day. He scrubs his little green fingies and his little green toesies. Then he looks at himself in the pond and smiles.
Whoa, I'm beautiful, and tonight I'm gonna do my thing.
Soon, it is 7 o'clock, and then it's 7:45, and then Frog is on stage. Oh, his little froggy legs are so nervous they won't stop shaking. Stop that! And then Brother Fox comes on stage to announce the opening act.
Ladies and broskies! Gentlemen, we have a very interesting act for you tonight. We have the frog who thinks he's a singer. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hey guys, that's me, Frog. Tonight I'm gonna sing a song for you. It's called
And before Frog can finish his sentence, the elephant takes a pineapple down from the tree and throws it at him from on stage. Now that little froggy has to run for his life. Brother Fox comes on stage to announce his mistake.
Ladies and broskies, gentlemen, settle down. It is all good here. That was just our comic routine. Now we have the birds who really can sing.
The birds are so good. The birds are so good that everybody in the crowd falls into a soft, peaceful nod. Everybody except for Frog. He is tired of feeling frustrated. So he gathers up the confidence that he has left, which is a lot, and he hops back onto that stage.
Hey guys, it's me, Frog. And I came here to sing a song for you tonight, and that is exactly what I'm gonna do. Skidda-bop, shidda-ba-dop, yeah! Do-ba,
And the crowd goes crazy. Look at my baby go. Everyone in this forest is dancing. They're doing something they've never done before. Ooh! And
everybody loves it. And that, my friends, is how my granddaddy said that the rhythm and blues was born.
In 2010, just outside of Beijing, China, drivers were caught in a traffic jam like no other. Now, this was no ordinary traffic jam that is experienced by commuters in New York or Los Angeles. This wasn't even I-96 in Michigan on a bad weather day. No, this was the mother of all traffic jams. According to ABC News, this bottleneck stretched 74.2 miles, brought 10,000 cars to a standstill, and lasted 11 days, August 27th through September 6th. It's easy to blame this traffic disaster on the alleged overpopulation of China. However, Levi Tillman, the founder and CEO of Clean Energy Fuels, tells us that this gigantic traffic jam isn't just a Pacific Rim problem, it's a global problem. And it happens on a smaller scale every day, right here in the United States. In a 2011 report on congestion, the Texas Transportation Institute tells us in the top 85 most populated cities in the U.S., auto gridlock results in 3.7 billion hours of travel delays, wastes 2.3 billion gallons of fuel, causes a lot of stress, and creates really angry people. Researchers and scientists have been working to combat this problem, and they've done it by creating a car that could make congestion do a big U-turn. These auto geniuses have designed the autonomous vehicle, which is a car not operated by you or me, but by a machine. So in order to understand this cutting-edge car, we will first climb into the driver's seat while we talk about its history and current status. Next, we will flip the auto driver switch and discuss how it works, before finally sitting back and taking in the view of the future implications of the driverless car. The Atlantic Media Company tells us that nearly 86% of Americans drive to work every day. And when we think about our moms, dads, teachers, coaches, that seems about right. And with our focus on new technology and supersonic speed, it was only a matter of time before our cars caught on. 70 years ago, RCA Labs dreamed up the driverless vehicle. They teamed with General Motors and over the past 7 decades have developed more than 100 prototypes of electric and driverless vehicles. Since then, Tesla, Ford, Uber, and Google have put this road revolution on the map. And it is now predicted that a fully self-driving car will be available to the public in 3 years, with a price tag of $20,000. So get ready, freshmen. By the time we are seniors, we all may be driving differently. Obviously, our future is looking bright, but I'm sure we're all asking the same question. If we're not driving, then who is? According to Time.com, February 24th, 2015, driverless cars are driven by tricked-out computers that receive constant messages from GPS, cameras, radar sensors, and LiDAR lasers. The cameras act as our eyes, watching for pedestrians, other cars, and traffic lights, just as we would to make sure we don't crash. The radar sensors help detect speed, and the LiDAR lasers send out little bursts of light that help the car register obstacles up to 300 meters ahead in all types of weather, meaning that while sometimes you and I have to pull over in the rain or snow just because we can't see, this smart car doesn't have to because it has perfect vision. It works like this. When we drive, we interpret information and react to it. The car's computer does the same thing. According to Jan-Erik Solomon, CEO of Maplery, an alternative to Google Street View, the cars come with pre-installed information. For example, each sign, yield sign, speed limit sign, stop sign, has an assigned code. So let's take a stop sign. As the driverless car is driving, the car's cameras see a code, which looks like a stop sign to you and me. The code is then sent to the computer, which processes the code and instantly sends it in a message to surrounding cars, essentially giving them a heads up about what they're seeing around them. So it's obvious that these cars have street smarts, but getting these vehicles on the road will mean big changes, both good and bad, for you and me. First, the driverless car will minimize congestion, increase our free time, and even help our environment. According to the Brookings Institute of High Technology, this transportation will help us in our daily travels because by using GPS technologies to route vehicles around traffic jams, the car's computer system will be able to divert these vehicles to detours. And the National Economic Council reports that because of this, self-driving cars will save us $160 billion worth of time and gas that Americans lose stuck in traffic each year. And the Department of Energy tells us that this time-saving car can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by over 25%. So these cars will help clear our roads and aid the ozone layer, which means you're probably wondering what's stopping us from putting this baby in drive. While this vehicle may increase our need for speed, it is also running right into some issues. And these problems are twofold: making our infrastructure auto-driver friendly and the hit that will be taken by our local economies. Our infrastructure consists of over 4 million miles of roads, highways, and interstates. And while we can drive nearly anywhere, anytime, our streets are designed for drivers, not driverless cars. So changes will have to be made. So let's take something simple, like stop signs. In the US, there are over 850 million stop signs, which is great. They keep us safe. However, in order to make these signs driverless vehicle friendly, they must be fixed and outfitted with LED lights that will be spotted by the car's cameras and sensors. However, at $35.95 a pop, we're talking about spending over $35 billion on stop signs alone. And that's not including labor. But stop signs aren't the only thing keeping us in park. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla Motors, says that this car will severely impact the economy of tens of thousands of cities all over the US. The US auto insurance industry is significant. It generates an average of $220 billion per year and supports over 277,000 jobs. However, cars without drivers means that car insurance may become a thing of the past. In fact, Apple Car predicts that by the year 2040, the auto insurance market will shrink by a whopping 60%, impacting not only hundreds of millions of lives, but also hundreds of millions of dollars. Which leaves us asking the age-old question: should computers or computerized cars replace humans? Today, we've gone for a test drive through the history and current status, the technology, and both positive and negative implications of the driverless car. And while many of us can relate to Beijing's mother of all traffic jams, with the radio blasting AC/DC's Highway to Hell, shifting gears to the driverless vehicle may instead have us singing, "Life is a highway, and I want to ride it all night long."
Think I eat a lot now. That's nothing. Tune in tomorrow when I will live stream my last meal. Death row inmates get one. Why shouldn't I? I can't handle one more year in this fat suit, but I can end this year with a bang. If you can stomach it, you're invited to watch as I eat myself to death. Honey, do you want anything for dinner? In 2014, a young female ate 19 pounds of food in one sitting, resulting in her inevitable death, proving that although it is extremely uncommon, it is in fact possible for someone to eat themselves into oblivion. And while this method isn't too likely, with recent spikes in obesity rates worldwide, there is an increase in food-related cause deaths every year. In Ellen Lange's Butter, an overweight outcast, after trying to put on a fake facade, is finally pushed to kill himself, doing the one thing he does most: eating. Hey, Dad, is there anything in there about the Jazz Fest this week? They were supposed to announce the lineup today. My dad buried his face deeper into his newspaper. See, when I reached the impressive 400-pound mark, my mom stopped talking to me about my weight, but my dad stopped talking to me altogether. See, when I was younger, he used to pull me aside and tell me, "Son, your frame was built for playing football." But as I started to grow out and not up, he didn't really know what to do with me anymore. And I was kind of happy when I reached that 423-pound mark, because he finally just shut up. It all happened in the cafeteria, just like one of my nightmares. I saw Anna out of the corner of my eye, and man, she looked fine today. But then all of a sudden, I noticed movement in Jeremy grabbing her, and then I heard Jeremy scream, "Fight!" Jeremy Strong was a cruel boy, and with cruel boys come cruel insults. Unlike the bubbly Anna Banana, the name he so graciously gifted me, the one he made sure everyone in the hallway knew, the one that haunted me in my nightmares, was much more cynical. Butter. Now the kid who bullied me every day was about to hurt the love of my life. I had to do something. I panicked, I stood up, and I screamed, "Anna!" The entire school began to look at me. What was so important to make the fat kid speak? "I was just wondering if you were okay. Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." "Chill out, Butter. She's all good. Why don't you waddle on back down to the big and tall section?" I snapped. "You know what, Jeremy? You're an idiot!" Bad idea. Next thing I know, Jeremy and his friends pushed me on the ground. If there's one thing I know, it's food. And that is what just made contact with my torso and my chest and my face. And next thing I know, I look up and Jeremy is holding a big yellow stick of butter. "You don't expect me to eat that, do you?" "Oh, I expect you to prove to everyone here why I call you Butter." I wanted to call him a coward, a freak, something much worse. But by the second bite, I already vomited, and by the third, the job was done. If I would have stopped, he would have hurt me more. So all I did was got up and tried to waddle back to my car. But before I could get there, I overheard a girl say, "I just don't understand why that fat piece of lard thinks he deserves to live. He should just off himself already." Right. That's what I intend to do. I went home and I got the website name butterslastmeal.com. I then wrote a dissertation or a menu for my last meal on this earth. 2 cartons of eggs, 3 gallons of milk, 2 rotisserie chickens, 2 pounds of prime rib, and 1 honorary stick of butter. I began to eat and eat some more. But soon my eyes started to close and my hands started to get clampy. And then before I could even understand the texture of the brine, my throat started to close up and everything went black. I woke up in what had to be heaven. People in white quotes, white prisms, Anna at the edge of my hospital bed. Anna at the edge of my hospital bed. I knew it was you all along, okay? No more hiding behind fear or food or the computer. I think we need to start over. I'm Anna, and you are? Well, I'm Butter, but you can call me Marshall. Thanks.
All right. Careful with when you're seated and you have your feet hanging that you don't.
Yeah, waddle.
Jeremy.
Crazy is nothing out of the ordinary in my family. It's what we are. Part of the family identity, sort of a running joke. The great-grandfather took off with the circus. The uncle who painted the horse. Uncle Frank in general. My father, and of course, me. My parents know that I'm different, that I live in my head. That's why I'm here. When the therapist speaks, he asks me about my mother and about my dreams, the onsets of violent headaches, and about running away in the middle of the night, my feet crunching on the frozen lake. I answer his questions and wait for him to tell me what's wrong with me, why I snap into sudden violent rages and shut myself in my room with the dresser backed up against the door and stay in constant trouble at school. He sits silently, watching me, saying nothing, fixing nothing. And I want to give up. Legendary comedian Robin Williams faced a lifelong battle with mental illness. He leaves behind a legacy of laughter in his motion pictures, which reminds us that even seemingly the happiest of people can suffer from dark demons. Maria is a girl with manic depressive tendencies and emotional mood swings. Although she struggles to find balance amid chaos, Maria's story teaches us that through perseverance and will, any life can be made beautiful. Madness, a memoir by Maria Hornbacher. I am 7. The world outside swells and presses in, trying to get me. I will not face the world with its noise and confusion. I am the invisible girl. I am not really here. I am 14. Word gets out at school that I'm seeing a psychiatrist. Maria, why are you always like so freaky and twitchy? Is it true you're like crazy? No. Then why are you seeing a psychiatrist? Isn't that for crazy people? I'm a freak, and everyone knows it, including me. They used to say I'd grow out of it. I grew into it. I'm 24. The therapist calls me into her office. Hello, Maria. So, what brings you here today? I'm going crazy. Well, not crazy. I mean, I talk to myself a little, but doesn't everybody talk to themselves? I don't know. Sometimes I just want to crawl into bed and hide from the world. It's kind of an effort to breathe. I don't want to do anything. I feel like a failure. I sort of hate myself. And then it goes away. And is there a pattern? No, I'm just kind of insanely moody. Maria, I believe you have bipolar disorder.
also known as manic depression. Manic depression, that's crazy. I wouldn't say it's crazy, I'd say it's an illness. You need to completely change the way you're living. Stay on your meds, don't drink, and avoid situations that make you feel agitated. Maria, there's a lot you can do to make this better for yourself. We can make it livable. But we can't, because bipolar people don't trust their doctors. We figure our ideas are better than theirs, so we add and subtract pills all the time. This rarely has good effects. I knock back my meds with beer. I guzzle coffee all day and vodka all night. I get absolutely shit-faced. But I'm having the time of my life. You may be asking, what is wrong with you? Are you insane? Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I am. Another night, another party, another fabulous red dress. I am in the bathroom putting on lipstick. I am suddenly gripped with terror. Fueled by the booze, I climb out the window onto the roof, teetering near the edge. Pull it together, freak. You're making a fool of yourself. Everyone hates you. Stop screwing everything up. Stop screwing everything up. Stop screwing everything up. Madness. This is madness. I am not well. Emergency room, flashing lights. I'm strapped down in a bed with bars. You can't just keep me here. I don't understand what's happening. I know only that I'm in a hospital. Again. New medications, increases and decreases. I am drugged and so feel nothing at all. My therapist explains to me that I am very sick. Maria, you need to start taking this seriously. Look around you. This is what you can expect to see more and more often if you don't work with me to treat it. And in that moment, I realized that this may be the only chance I have to save my own life. I've had enough. And so I take whatever meds the doctor tells me to, because I am going to be normal, even if it kills me. A year later, I'm at my weekly therapy session. So I almost had the perfect day. I went to the gym, I showered, I paid the bills. I even picked up a piece of paper off the floor the minute I saw it. And then it all went to hell because, I forgot to take the chicken out of the freezer. I totally screwed up. Maria, see, the thing is, you've got this idea of normal that's not normal. Normal people don't do everything perfectly. They just do the best they can. So I shift my perception from seeing myself as a screw-up to seeing myself as capable and doing my best. I change my thoughts from bracing for a terrible day to expecting a lovely one. I am 34. Madness is only a small part of my life now. I've discovered some habits that help me. A structured schedule, daily mood charts, keeping a journal, yoga. I'm serious. See, I know this illness, and I know it cycles. My days will always be different from your days. I am who I am. So what if it isn't a normal life? It's the one I have. It's difficult, beautiful, full of laughter, passing strange. Whatever else it is, whatever it brings, it's mine.
How to succeed in heartbreak without really trying. First, do nothing. Become one with your couch, eating whole stacks of Oreos like leaning towers of feelings. Watch Jane Austen adaptations until your eyes become raisins and relish in Colin Firth emerging from the lake in a white t-shirt. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself in the mirror, on public transportation, in the middle of a fountain at the mall, because there are things you never got to say, and you don't have to swallow them. Kiss as many people as you need to get the stamp of his lips off of your brain. Go to museums. Realize other things have history too. Play hide and go seek with your REM cycles. You're not sure what's worse to wake up from, the nightmares of your side splitting or the dreams of him holding your jaw like it still meant something to him. You might as well write as much as you can, write until you start using every metaphor in your library. You start using the same ones over and over again because there's only so many ways to describe being destroyed. Take his name, the one that still hurts to say, and use it as a war cry. And then actually cry. Because there's nothing shameful about clearing your eyes. Because heartbreak is not about being okay. It's about remembering that you were okay before. But I'm done feeling sorry for myself because why apologize for loving until you burst? My capacity to feel needs no pardon. My heart needs no mending. I am not broken. I'm just a little more explosive. The 21st century. There has never been a better time to be a woman. However, in these three poems, How to Succeed in Heartbreak by Victoria Morgan, Girl Code 101 by Blythe Baird, and Heals by Amani Cezanne, we discover that though times are changing, being a woman is still incredibly difficult. Girl Code 101. We are the finaglers, the exceptions, the girls who layer deep V-necks with excuses, eyelashes bat wiffle balls at the male gym teachers. We are the girls taught to use our bodies as Swiss Army knives, calculated scrunch nose giggles, forearm lingers. You're so funny, please don't touch me. We convince ourselves that there is protection in being polite. No, you can go first. See, girls, we have to be nice. Male kindness is so alien to us, we assume it is seduction every time. We remember aged 9, the first time we are catcalled. Age 12, fraudulent bodies calling us women before we have the chance to. Age 13, the year Dad says wearing short skirts in the city is like driving without a seatbelt on. Age 15, we are the unmarked tardies, honorable mentions in lush floral dresses. Age 17, we know the answer, but do not raise our hand. Instead, we are answering to guidance counselors who ask us, well, what were you wearing? Their voices, clinkless toasts. We are let off the hook by hall monitors, retired football coaches who whisper, Little Miss Lipstick, into our ears. We shiver. But hey, at least we get away without wearing our student IDs. This is not female privilege. This is survival of the prettiest. We are playing the first game we learned how to. We are the asses smacked by boys who made welcome mats of our yoga pants. We are easily startled, but who wouldn't be? We are the girls taught to be petrified of the business school boys who learn to manifest success by refusing to take no as an answer. And I wonder what it says about me that I feel only pretty in a dress, but powerful in a suit. Give me a God I can relate to. Give me one accomplishment of marriage that did not involve her vagina. Give me decisions, a wordless wardrobe, an opinionless dress. Give me a city where my body is not public property. Once, my friend and I were walking down Michigan Avenue when we were catcalled, and she said, "Screw you." Well, I said thank you, like I was trained to. This is for the man who asked me why I wear heels if I'm already so tall. And for the date who asked me to change my shoes because my height was making him uncomfortable. Men. Since you had your turn with your questions, I have a few of my own, if that's all right. Why don't you believe in pedicures? Why don't you use punctuation in your text messages? Who told you that standing next to a tall woman would make you a small man? Don't come for me. I hurt feelings. Where are the grown men? The men who won't piss in their pants at the sight of 5-inch heels. I wear heels because I'm grown. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts, no questions, comments, or concerns, but if you must know, I wear heels because I'm fly. Because I'll be scoping out the crowd like a lighthouse, and when I'm grounded, I'll be stepping on men I can't even see. I wear heels because it is useless to cater to the insecure. You think people won't notice you? You should shine brighter. You should get more special. You should love yourself enough not to let a woman in heels emasculate you, brother. Get your life. Dig your manhood out of your gut. Go back to the day you buried it alive, a premature time capsule because someone told you you could not reach the stars this way. You can reach the stars this way. I know, because those same people told me that big girls don't walk as pretty, don't glide as easy, can't be tamed or housebroken, aren't feminine enough. Those same people said women, like children, should be seen, not looked up to. They said do everything in your power to make yourself seem smaller. Well, I have done everything in my power to make myself seem smaller, but listen, shrinking don't come easy to us giants, right? You can't teach height. It's a gift given to those worthy of living above the average, those who can love themselves enough not to let a man with issues validate us. I'll be big for a reason. I'll be sized to be seen. I am a prize. My heels are my pedestal. And you, baby, you just lost.
Marlene Smith paid about $32 for 180 pills to treat her rheumatoid arthritis. When the drug's price more than doubled, she was annoyed but paid the bill anyway. Then last September, the price of the drug skyrocketed, costing her $500 out of pocket. Smith panicked and did what thousands of other Americans do. She stopped taking the drug. Her arthritis pain grew much worse. Walking and doing simple household chores, such as washing the dishes, became almost impossible. Marlene is not alone. Last year, nearly 1 in 5 Americans, that is 35 million people, did not get their prescriptions filled because they did not have enough money. Today, we will pull back the curtain on the worlds of big pharmaceutical companies, look into why prescription drug prices have soared exponentially, and find some ways to protect our wallets from greedy drug manufacturers. Prescription drug prices are increasing by an average of over 18% each year. One recent example is the hepatitis C drug. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, hepatitis C infects 3.5 million Americans annually. It kills more Americans than any other infectious disease, including HIV. Fellow Americans being treated for hepatitis C have seen the drug price nearly double to $100,000 for a single course of treatment. But perhaps the most notorious of all drug price increases is the EpiPen. In 2001, 2 EpiPens cost $57 in the US. In August of last year, a pair of EpiPens reached the unacceptable price of $650. But listen to this. An EpiPen costs just $14 in Poland and only 25 cents in Mexico. The profits from EpiPens alone hit an astonishing $1.2 billion in 2015. It's no wonder, according to BBC News, that pharmaceutical companies have the highest profit margins of any industry in this country. And all of this comes at the cost of consumers. One day, someone will need an EpiPen in a life-threatening allergic reaction, and they won't have it, and they will die because they could not afford the medication. Prescription drug price hikes are a cruel reality, so let's talk about what truly causes these price increases. First of all, what determines drug prices? According to Emily Campbell of Pharma, the factors that go into the price of a medicine include the cost of research and development, as well as the drug's clinical merits, which means how well it works and whether or not it reduces other medical care costs. That seems reasonable, right? But here is a curious statistic. According to the Annals of Internal Medicine, drug companies spend up to twice as much money on marketing than they do on research and development. Consumer Reports found that Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer, the two pharmaceutical giants spent about 13% and 16% on research and development. But listen to this. The companies simultaneously spent about 30% of revenue on marketing. They needed to recoup this cost in the price of their drugs. But the ethics seem obvious. No one should have to give up their medications so that Johnson & Johnson can run more commercials. We live in a country with government regulations on so many aspects of our lives. Yet there is no government oversight of prices set by drug companies, leaving them free to price gouge. Their market strength increases further when a drug has no generic equivalent. For example, last year, on the same day that Valiant Pharmaceuticals purchased the life-saving heart drug Isuprel and the blood pressure medication Nitropres, the company jacked up their prices by 500%. These two drugs have no generic equivalents. Simply put, anyone who needs these drugs either pays the price or stops taking them. Another cause of increased prescription drug prices is a tactic called evergreening. This is when companies tweak the formula of a drug by combining two older drugs to form a new pill, or by creating an extended release version, or by changing the delivery method from, say, a tablet to an inhalant. When that happens, the federal government may grant the drug company a new patent. That gives the company 20 years of market protection for the drug, meaning it will not have any generic competitors to help regulate the price. One example of this tactic is the diabetes drug insulin. The drug is almost 100 years old, yet there is no generic version available in the US. That's because drug companies keep changing its formulation and getting new patents for it. Now that we know that pharmaceutical companies are the main culprits for prescription drug price gouging, let's focus on the next big problem. Healthcare insurance changes have made this situation even worse for us consumers. We are paying much higher insurance deductibles, so the higher cost of prescription drugs are more real to us. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, 10 years ago, less than 10% of employees with health insurance paid more than $1,000 for their deductibles. Today, almost half of Americans have those plans. Big pharmaceutical companies clearly have the power to affect our pocketbooks and our health. But there are ways for us to fight back. First, the government can set a limit on out-of-pocket costs. Last year, California enacted a law that ensured consumers wouldn't have to pay more than $250 for a single prescription drug each month. The federal government should do this as well. The government should also eliminate restrictions on the importation of drugs from Canadian and European sources. This would reduce shortages and increase competition. A 2004 study by the Congressional Budget Office found that allowing importation would reduce drug spending by about $4 billion a year. However, the most effective government solution would be to approve more generic versions of common drugs. Currently, there's a backlog of nearly 4,300 generic drug applications awaiting FDA approval. Approving these generics would get rid of monopolies, bringing the prices down dramatically for all of us. But we don't just have to wait for the government to save us from the high cost of our prescriptions. First, we need to choose insurance plans that cover most of the medications we need. We can also ask our doctors about the cost of the prescribed drugs, and ask about generic alternatives, which can save us up to 90% or more. Another solution to keep in mind is that retail drug prices can vary wildly, even within the same zip code. So we should shop around and negotiate. Let me share an example with you. My grandfather suffers from Alzheimer's disease. His doctor prescribed Aricept, which helps improve memory, thinking, and reasoning. Our family was so happy to learn that something could help improve his condition, but was shocked when a 90-day supply of Aricept cost $1,967. Luckily, there's a generic version, which brought the cost down dramatically. The price is only $656 at CVS, just $356 at Target, and a mere $21 at Costco. Using generics and shopping around really does work. And let's not forget about the effectiveness of a good social media campaign. Malini Kantaya, an actress from Brooklyn, went online and created the petition Stop the EpiPen Price Gouging. In just 45 days, her petition grew to more than 80,000 people who sent more than 121,000 letters to Congress. In December of 2016, the manufacturer bowed to pressure. It announced that the company would sell a generic version for $300, which is half of the hiked price. We must take this story to heart. If you or someone you know is suffering from a devastating hike in drug prices, don't underestimate your ability to rally others and make a difference. Remember Marlene Smith, who stopped taking her rheumatoid arthritis medication? Today, we learned that she is not a unique example. The problem of unacceptably high prescription drug prices affects 35 million Americans. The causes may be complex, but they are not insurmountable. If this issue were solved, the millions of Americans who rely on life-saving medications would never have to worry about not being able to afford their prescriptions. Marlene Smith would have never needed to endure the tormenting pain of rheumatoid arthritis. Millions would not have to be put into danger each and every day. Let us solve this unrelenting problem together, one step at a time.
A mother's work is never done when her daughter's getting married. How's my girl? Is she okay? I'm good. My darling, precious child, my beautiful, innocent little virgin. Mother, I'm not a virgin. Let me have my fantasy, please. Remember, while having our hair done at 10 in the hotel spa, and tell what's-his-name it's bad luck to see the bride before the wedding ceremony. And Jenny, get your sister a panini station.
Got it. Brian, you know it's bad luck for the groom to be here.
It'll all be fine.
We're the best man and co-maid of honor.
They're getting dressed.
Annie, best rehearsal dinner ever!
Hello?
Ah, so you do want a panini station. What's a wedding without one?
How'd you know that, Albert?
I'm a wedding planner, Jenny. I see and hear everything at this hotel.
Thanks, Albert.
I live to serve.
Then would you call the groom's mother for me?
No hablo inglés.
Hello, Georgette here. Oh, Rebecca, my future daughter-in-law. Of course, I'm looking forward to having my hair done with you girls. Goodbye. Oh God, I've got to get Brian to call up this wedding. Mother, this has already turned into the longest wedding day in history.
Wedding day? Jenny?
Oh no! Mom, I just accidentally called Marty.
Don't worry about it. Rebecca's ex-boyfriend or not, he's a member of this family.
Rebecca didn't want him to know the wedding was today. She was afraid he was going to try and stop it.
Well, he probably didn't even know it was you.
It's a sign! Come pick me up!
It
should have been you!
By Brian Hargrove. Music and lyrics by Barbara Anselmi and Brian Hargrove.
Flowers.
Check.
Unity candle.
Check.
Stand up straight. No one's gonna want to dance with a question mark. Don't you look better?
Ever.
Fine, be that way. But a nice Jewish girl like you, it could have been you getting married instead of the room. There was nothing in the banquet room.
Ah, Mrs. Steinberg, just the person I was hoping to see.
Oh, hello, Albert. How are you?
Oh, hello.
Having a nice day? Well, where the hell is my wedding?
No cause for concern, Mrs. Steinberg. We'll be ready.
Don't kid me, Albert. If the room isn't ready by the time the guests arrive, you'll be sorry. I'll quit if you bull.
Mom!
Honey, this is the most important day of your sister's life. I need you today.
Albert, if this room isn't ready in time, we will have your balls!
Now fix your hair. Okay, Jenny, I'll meet you and Rebecca on the salon in an hour.
Jenny, emergency. Rebecca wants to cancel the wedding.
What? Where is she?
3rd floor, ladies' room.
Rebecca, if you think I'm gonna let you call up this wedding after all these years together and everything we've been through, Jenny, what's wrong with Rebecca?
Greg?
Oh, what's Jenny doing here? I'm sure she's crazy busy.
This is like that ski trip all over again.
Yeah, except that time it was you crying in the ladies' room.
What happened?
Someone was in the men's room.
No, what happened to Rebecca?
She caught her dress in the elevator door.
Just let me talk to
I'm
her.
her sister.
Well, she's my... Fine, it's your turn.
Annie.
Jenny, my dress is ruined.
Well, it's just a smudge.
It's not a smudge. It's a metaphor.
Enough. You're gonna be perfect. I'm sure Albert's already taken care of it anyway.
Excuse me, is this the Steinberg wedding?
Marty?
Judy, is something wrong?
My daughter breaks your heart and you don't even have the decency to call me?
I'm sorry?
Excuse me? What are you people
all doing here?
You'll stay for the reception, I hope.
Hey, Jen, what's up?
Get out!
I just want to talk to her. Do it for a friend.
Our friendship ended when you and Rebecca broke up.
Jenny.
You didn't want to talk to me then. I don't want to talk to you now. Goodbye, Marty.
You're right. I'm sorry. I should have called you back. I didn't because I can't tell you. Come on, Jenny. We were once best friends.
Bringing up the past, trying to get your way?
I'm bringing up our past because you know how close we were.
All right, fine. I'll talk to her.
Thank you.
Oh, Brian, I wanted to talk to you about Rebecca.
What's wrong with Rebecca?
Oh, how do I put this? Everything.
Look, Mom, I know our families come from such different backgrounds.
Don't be
but
silly, dear. Dreidel Dreidel is my new song.
Well, what is it, Mom? I love her.
It's just that your grandfather has left you a lot of money for this wedding, and I just want to make sure she's the right one for you, sweetie. Just think about it. I'm sorry, Marty, but Rebecca doesn't want to see you.
She has to. I just heard Brian's mom trying to stop the wedding.
What? When Rebecca finds out, she's gonna have a meltdown.
Yeah. I'm gonna go tell her!
Marty, she doesn't want to see you!
Jenny, your mother wanted you in the hair salon 15 minutes ago.
Great, look,
you gotta find Brian and tell him to keep Marty away from Rebecca.
Thank God for you, Albert.
I do daily.
So Marty
He's
is
here to stop the wedding.
Well, we
You can't
can't
let him do that.
And
Marty
Brian
has him quartered in the bar per my instructions.
Who are you?
And then he got to them and he asked,
Oh, you know I love little, what's his name?
Brian.
The little I do know I love. But his mother. There was a vicious insult behind every word that woman utters.
Then why did you invite her to have her hair done with us?
Because here I'll have the opportunity to lay the groundwork for our future relationship. Don't worry, I'm just gonna be my usual self.
No! You might think you're being nice, but it doesn't always come across that way.
Everything I say is out of love.
But you sound angry.
Sometimes love is angry.
Knock, knock.
Come in.
I'm ready to be made beautiful.
Come in.
Georgette, we have a chair right here for you, and Devin and his team will be back momentarily. Oh, I've already had my hair done by Elsie. She's the best in the business, didn't I tell you? I'll just need a quick spritz.
If you had, I wouldn't have hired Devin and his team at $300 a pop.
Oh, well, I'm happy to pay for Devin if money is a problem for
And just
you.
what makes you think something so silly? There's nothing I enjoy more than wasting money.
And we're going to be great friends because there's nothing I enjoy more than wasting other people's money.
Well, thank you for the rehearsal dinner last night, Georgette. The food was delicious.
The country club does do a good job, don't they? I think their secret is that they put bacon in practically everything.
Oh, our family keeps kosher. We don't eat pork.
Not even bacon? Oh, I won't tell if you don't. Isn't this fun? Keeping secrets already. What a great idea.
Oh, well, thank you. And you were right about Elsie. It's amazing what she can do with such thinning hair.
Oh, please, you're just saying that.
But it's true. It's like your whole face has been lifted.
Rebecca, I need to talk to you.
I don't want to talk to you. You're just going to tell me that I can't go through with this.
You can't go through with this. Brian's mom is trying to stop the wedding.
What?
I'll explain later.
What later?
Looks like someone could use a pep talk.
Don't waste your breath, Albert. I know my sister, and that was the final straw.
Oh, don't be of little faith. All weddings have their problems, Jenny. Even couples who elope. But all of them are solvable, so please don't give up hope. You'll find that I'm invincible, impervious to shock.
What are you, magic?
No, my sweet, I've been around the block. I live to serve, so bring it on. I'm here from dawn till dusk till dawn. Oh, yes, I've seen it, done it all before. Oh, yes, I've seen it all before.
Oh, honey, where is your sister?
I'm not quite sure yet, but Albert should be taking care of it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I just heard him do a whole song and dance about it.
Well, where is he?
Right here, Mrs. Steinberg. Albert has been working his usual magic.
Rebecca.
What is it, Mom? The hair, the dress, what?
You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Really?
Yes. Ah! Get out of here, Brian. You really shouldn't be seeing your bride.
Right.
Yes.
Bridal party's down the aisle. You ready?
Rebecca, you cannot marry this guy.
Marty, stop. If you love her and if you love our family like you say you do, then you will let her go.
Okay, fine. But you can't say I didn't try.
You look beautiful. Forget every crazy thing that's happened today. I love you, Jenny.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Mazel tov!
Becca, you're a goddess, and I'm not just saying that. Managing your mom to keep this day from falling flat.
A perfect ending to a not so good beginning. God be with us.
Mazel tov!
What a day, gotta say, thank God we're done.
Lose the shoes, grab the booze.
Let's have some fun. The newlyweds are finally on their own. We can be the four of us alone. Knock, knock.
Guys, you're not supposed to be in here.
Why we're doing something
We
naughty?
brought champagne. Oh, but I forgot the champagne.
Not to worry, dear. I'm on it.
This is the hood. No one's allowed in here for the next 10 minutes. It's tradition.
Plenty of time to celebrate.
It had to be perfect. A toast. From the simple to the great.
It's Brian and Rebecca.
And Every single wish was my command.
Best man?
And woman, I had it perfect.
To us.
Made their union unsurpassed. And from the looks on both their faces, you know it's gonna last.
I brought champ. I did not see that one coming.
Jenny, this is not what you think it is. Knock, knock. Look who I found.
I'm sorry, I should have left already.
Nonsense, your family and you're staying. What's wrong?
I think I saw something I wasn't supposed to.
Like what?
A rat.
A rat?
Yeah, it came out of the closet. It looks like it's gone back in.
And we're gonna keep it that way, right?
Yes, we are. Don't tell anyone.
Right, madam, that kind of thing could ruin a wedding.
Well then, let's get going.
Well now it's time for the wedding reception. Reception.
Jenny, I can explain.
You lied, and you lied to me.
I was going to tell you.
When? When I was helping you pick out the hotel? The wedding planner?
Jenny,
Rebecca, the guests are waiting for you.
Jenny, I need you to take a picture of your sister.
You know what? No.
No? Jennifer, is it too much to ask for this one little favor?
Are you kidding? I pulled all of this off without a glitch. I think I'm gonna go have some fun.
Are you drunk? Jenny! Jenny!
Hey, Marty!
Hey, Jen.
Oh.
Wait, Jenny, come back!
Marty, this is the ladies' room.
I don't care. Jenny, what just happened? What's the matter with you?
I can't tell you. You're still in love with Rebecca.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
She is gay. That is why I didn't call you back.
That's why you tried to stop the wedding? I can't believe this. It's always been Becca and Marty.
Well, before we went off to college, it was you and me.
Yeah, but you were never in love with me.
No, I was never in love with Rebecca.
Is there something you want to tell me?
You kissed me!
Whatever!
If whatever means that wasn't accidental, that you feel the same way, then I'll take whatever with you.
Whatever. Who knew?
So should we, you know...
Shut up and do it already.
If you two are finished canoodling and all,
We were just...
Oh, I see that. You go, girl.
Can we help you with something?
Oh, right. I almost forgot. Your sister was just about to tell your mother that she's gay.
My God.
I thought you'd like to know.
I can't believe you guys are saying this after all the talks, all the late nights.
Now is not the time.
Rebecca, you're gonna do what?
Rebecca, would it kill you to wait?
Oh, honey, there you are. We're starting the toast.
Mom, there's something I have to tell you.
It's okay, honey. You can just tell me.
Not
I'm gay!
What does this mean, you're gay?
It's like when two women get together and they
I know
okay.
what it is.
But Rebecca, is this true? Kind of. Yes.
Well, does Brian know?
I'm gay too.
Well, then why did you two get married in the first place?
It's simple, really.
Rebecca and I had known each other since college, and that's when she realized she was
Gay.
And one night, the four of us were all hanging out.
You mean Annie is your,
Yes, Mom, Annie is my
Well, at least she's Jewish.
Oh, Judy, I'm not
Let
Jewish.
me have my fantasy, please.
So we realized we're broke.
But my grandfather left me a trust fund that I couldn't collect until I married a woman.
I'm not a woman.
Exactly. Now, we never would have done this if things were different, the way they should have been. I talked Rebecca into marrying me.
Which wasn't hard. I mean, just because of some stupid will, he can't marry the person he...
Now might not be the best time for that.
I'm sorry, it's just once you start coming out, it's hard to stop.
Anyway, quickie marriage, split the inheritance, and get Rebecca on my insurance plan.
So I'd be covered when I had the baby.
You're pregnant?
With a baby? God, I hope so!
Who's the father?
Well, now that's kind of complicated.
Oh, honey, I think that horse left the stable a long time ago.
Is it Annie?
No, Mom, that's still not possible.
It was me!
You cheated? On Annie?
No, Judy, they didn't cheat. It was more than that.
I had never been with a woman before, and I felt safe with Rebecca.
And it just happened.
You can't imagine how shocked we were when we found out.
Yeah, I think somehow we can.
But now we're really excited.
Because we're all getting a family out of it. I've always wanted kids.
And we were just gonna have a small ceremony, but then, Mom, you got wind of it,
You
and...
could have just told me, sweetheart. I'm one of the least judgmental people you will ever meet.
Really? When I first met you, I thought you didn't like me.
I didn't.
Mom!
But after a few years, you grew on me.
Aw, thanks, Mrs. Steinberg.
You can call me Mom.
Thanks, Mom!
No! Judy, we'll work up to Mom.
So, does that mean the wedding's over?
It doesn't have to be. Jenny Steinberg, I love you. Will you marry me?
Marty, we've never even dated, and after all the years you spent with Rebecca...
No. It should have been you.
Well, do you love him?
Of course, I always have, but it's too much. Too soon. This isn't the way it's supposed to happen.
Supposed to. Honey, this is love. There was no such thing as supposed to. Stop. I can't get married in this dress.
Oh, honey, I did see this one coming. You two, follow me.
Thank God for you, Albert.
I live to serve.
Annie, I know who I love, and I don't ever want to lose you. Will you marry me?
Yes! Oh, Albert!
So, Craig, what do you say we get married too? As soon as I get divorced and all.
You better say that on one knee, buddy.
Will you marry me?
Yes!
You're homosexuals?
No, we're gay.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you, Mom.
Honey, I'm glad.
Why?
Well, it doesn't matter whether you're gay or not. I love you for who you are.
I love you too, Mom.
Hey, Albert, you got another wedding to plan.
So, I had no idea.
Truce?
Truce.
Friends?
Truce. We'll work up to friends.
You're on.
Ladies and gentlemen, my masterpiece. Come take me
Hi!
You sound like you
Wow. I got to watch Mia struggle.
Greeting, patriotic Americans. Now, if you're like me, you mistrust the news. And that's good. But recently there's been some hubbub about the organization known as the NSA. What's that, Gabrielle? The NSA stands for National Security Agency. Wow, they sound wonderful. We are. We're like one big security blanket, wrapping itself around America's throat and squeezing until everyone is just as safe as can be. But it's been reported, if you trust these reporters who are reporting facts, that we here at the NSA have been listening to everyone's phone conversations and reading everyone's emails and hiding inside your refrigerators. Whoops. Although, without that, how could we be sure that there weren't any terrorists hiding in your bathroom? We'd never know. And the fear would be terrible. So, in order to repair our image to the public, we here at the NSA are willing to give you a free service. Do you ever feel like you're being watched? Now, I don't mean from a stalker or a cute secret admirer. I mean from the land of the free, home of the brave, our American government. So power down your phones and delete all your emails. Here is the NSA's Guide to Winning Friends and Influencing People by Don Zlitis. So what's the free service, Gabrielle? Well, since we've been hopefully observing all human behavior since the Patriot Act, we have become experts in human nature. In fact, we've learned that you're all doing things very, very wrong. Man, you people are terrible. But don't worry, we're here to help you. How to win friends and influence people the NSA way. Scenario 1. Let's say you're attending an all-American high school and you're new to town. Problem? How do you make friends? First, let's see the wrong way. So I was talking to Charlie the other day and, excuse me, I'm new here. Are you an available female? Sorry, who are you? I will become the new alpha male. Let's begin physical combat. Whoa, let's try that one again, shall we? But this time, the NSA way. So I was talking to Charlie the other day and, I'm sorry, this is a private conversation. Oh, yes, of course. Just pretend like I'm not here. Yeah, okay. So I told Charlie that he was totally gonna get the job. Charlie Termite, 6'3", 243 pounds. His mother calls him Pookie. Okay, so what's your name and how do you know all of this? My name is of no importance. You can call me a friend. Okay, I'm having a party this weekend. Wanna come? Oh, no way. Your parents say they're planning a trip to Florida, but in reality, they're gonna drive 20 miles out of town, stay there for 3 hours before turning back at 11 o'clock in order to catch you. Your parents don't trust you at all. Okay, so maybe I'm running behind their backs, throwing parties and stuff, but it is not cool for them to call me out on it. You know a new guy? You're my friend now. Cool. And I promise I won't say anything about how you kissed Charlie's ex-girlfriend. Wow, total surveillance is sure helpful. right? And there were 0 terrorist attacks during that segment. Okay, next to my other scenario, parents can learn a thing or two from us as well, like how to deal with a difficult teenager. Sweetheart, dinner's ready. Hi, honey, how was your day? Would you like some milk? Was that a nod? I don't think that was a nod. I think that was a twitch, honey. Did you nod when I asked if you wanted some milk? Did you nod? Nod if you nodded before, okay? Yep, that was a definite no. You're right. I'm so glad we're communicating. Whoa, I can't see that again. I don't know about you. Let's try that one again. But this time, the parents are equipped with NSA materials. Sweetheart, dinner's ready. Hi, honey, how was your day? All right, time to use the device. Boop. What the heck, my phone just died. Hi, honey. Do you know what happened to the Wi-Fi? Me and your father canceled the internet worldwide. You canceled the entire internet? Yep, we did. Your father and I hold limitless power. So, how was your day? Well, my day started with my usual routine. I got out of bed and I realized a tragedy in the making. A pimple, one of those big red juicy ones with just a little bit of pus coming out from the summit. Then I got out of bed and I realized I had an itch in my, okay, well, we're gonna turn back on the Wi-Fi now. Remember, parents, there's a good reason that we shouldn't communicate with our children, okay? Wow, good point. How else can the NSA help me? Good question. It's not just individuals that are already benefiting from our wisdom. Organizations are too. Let's check on my favorite organization, Girl Scouts. Okay, so I call this a meeting of Girl Scouts to order. Roll call. Haley, Ashton. Look who decided to show up. Sorry, my mom was late in picking me up. Now, back to my first order of business of awarding merit badges for cookie sales. Haley, step forward. I deserve this. Okay, for selling 93 boxes, you are hereby awarded the merit badge for cookie sales. I am the queen of cookie sales. I am a golden god. Haley, you're doing it again. Sorry, I get excited about things. Yeah. Now, last on my list, Ashton. For selling 144 boxes of cookies, you get nothing. But I sold more boxes than anybody. That may be true, but unfortunately, you've been accused of crimes by other Girl Scouts. What crimes? Secret crimes? Well, is there any evidence or something? The evidence is a secret, therefore we can't show you. Wait, I can confess. I sold a box of cookies for myself. I kicked a squirrel. I don't like My Little Pony. I set the woods on fire. I sacrificed a chicken for fun. No, you're way off. Take her away. Whoa, that was a close one. Gabrielle, don't you think this is a little bit going overboard here? Why is that? I don't want that NSA in my computer. We're already there. Or looking at me through my video cameras. You're not that interesting. That's it. I quit. I'm gonna move to a cabin in Montana and I'm gonna live like mountain people. Good luck watching me now. He's gonna be really bummed out when he hears about our satellites.
Shut up. No, man, I'm serious. You have superpowers. One. I have one superpower. What, so you're like a superhero or something? Yeah, kind of. Okay, yeah, all right. Hey, man, are you calling me a liar? How long have we known each other? How long, Victor? Since, second grade. Second grade. And you never bothered to tell me that you had superpowers. Everybody has that one person in their life. That one person they can't keep out of their head. the perfect person for them. If they could ever get the guts to actually go up and talk to them. Well, what if you had the ability to make these true loves fall in love with you too? When Victor acquires these powers, his best friend Mickey is jealous, to say the least. Through their tale, the two will find out what these gifts can do, and that self-confidence is the most important ability there really is. The Secret Origins of Mojo Man by Walter Wykes. I just found out, okay, about my powers. I came straight to you. You're like my Kato. Kato? Kato? The Green Hornet is lame. Okay, then you're like my Robin. Robin? Robin wears bright green underpants. You know mine are olive, but I get it. This is like your origin issue. My what? Your origin issue. You know, everyone has one. It's the first issue. A hero battles a villain who falls in a toxic waste, gains evil magical powers, swears vengeance, becomes a arch nemesis, and hey! You don't still read those things, do you? No. No, that's ridiculous. Oh, okay, then let me check your backpack. No! Look! What are your powers? My powers? Yeah, man, what can you do? Can you fly? Can you freeze time? Can you shoot laser beams out of your eyes? No. It's actually better than that. You see, it's sort of like the ultimate superpower. The ultimate superpower? Well, what is it? It's my mojo. It's enormous. Chicks, man, chicks! They can't resist me. Chicks can't resist you? They do anything I say, since a few hours ago. What a load of shame, man. I made out with 3 cheerleaders since lunch. 3 cheerleaders? Well, which ones did you, I don't kiss and tell. Oh, come on, man, I'm your Robin. You said Robin was lame. No, I said the Green Hornet was lame. Robin is just, look, who did you make out with? Okay, Bella, Rosemary, and Bree. Bree? You made out with Bree? Dude, you know I like her! You barely even talked to her because I like her! I've liked her since like the 2nd grade. I can't believe you used your powers on the one girl that I, So you admit that I have powers. No, I don't admit that you have powers. I admit that you're a backstabber. I admit that you stabbed me, your best friend, directly in the back. And even if you had powers, which you don't, you wouldn't be a hero. You need to be a villain. The Joker, Dr. Octopus, the Red Skull. Oh, and then you're Captain America. Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I have powers too. Maybe I'll use my powers to counteract your powers to still read back and then your evil reign of terror. My reign of terror? I just kissed a few girls, man. No, you use your powers for personal gain. And that's the #1 rule. A hero never uses his powers for personal gain. Or what, you want to have a battle, huh? You want to have a showdown? Yeah, a showdown. That's what I want. Let's do it. All right, fine. Let's do it now. Well, I don't know. I should probably stretch or something. I mean, I just found out about my powers even though the whole morning. Powers don't manifest until you need them the most. That's how it works, right? I mean, mine didn't manifest until, oh my God, it's Ray, she's coming now! Oh, okay, well, we'll have the battle now. See who has more control. Act cool. Hey, boys! Hey. Hi, Bree! We were actually just talking about you. Oh, were you? Yeah. No! I mean, not specifically. I mean, your name may have come up along with several other names. It was a casual reference in passing. Nothing weird. I mean, we weren't, talking about you. Right, Victor? Right. It's okay, Mickey. You can talk about me. I've known you since, the 2nd grade? So how did I come up in this mysterious conversation of yours? Well, we were actually trying to decide which one of us two should take you to the dance. Oh, and what did you decide? Well, we haven't yet. You see, it's still sort of up in the air. Well, do I get any say? That's not how it works. We're having a showdown. Oh, a showdown? So you're like gunslingers? Superheroes, actually. Oh, I get it. So you two are duking it out for the pretty helpless girl. I have to fall into your arms, whoever wins? You won't have a choice. He's got powers. Ah, Mickey, I've known you since 2nd grade, and you never told me that you had powers. It's not his fault. He just found out. It's his origin issue. Oh, so what are they? Your powers, I mean. My powers? It's actually kind of funny. It's his mojo. It's major. Chicks cannot resist him. Really? Well, I'm a chick, right? So your powers ought to work on me. Come on, tell me to do something. Come on, Mickey. Bend me to your will. know what to say. Ask her to the dance. What? Ask her to the dance. The dance. Ask her to the dance. Oh, the dance, right. Bree, would you like to go with me to the dance? Yeah, the dance. Sure. Pick me up at 7. Don't be late. I won't. I won't be late. I'll be there 7 o'clock, right on the dot. Maybe a little early. Good. See you then. I did it. Yeah, man, you did. You were totally awesome. I know! Did you see that? I was like, hey, Bree, you want to go to the dance? And she was like, oh my God, yeah, pick me up at 7. She was all over me. Did you see that? It was crazy. Hey, man, what's wrong? Nothing. It's just... Well, I feel bad for using my powers on Bree like that. I mean, I've known her since like the 2nd grade. I should have just asked her. You did. No, man, I didn't. I used my powers. I manipulated her mind somehow. I broke the most sacred of superhero oaths. I used my powers for personal gain. You don't have powers, Mick. I don't? No. I made all that stuff up so you'd ask her out. I knew she'd say yes. So you never had any powers? Never made out with any cheerleaders? Nope. So then I just, and she just, oh my God, I have a date with Bree. Yeah, man, tomorrow at 7, don't be late. Yeah, 7. Oh, thanks, man, you're the best. I have a date with Bree. So once again, the day is saved, thanks to Mojo Man and his faithful sidekick. I need to get a sidekick.
The day began with such promise. And now look, I still don't have the Book of Peace, and it's all thanks to you, Sinbad.
And I don't suppose a heartfelt apology would do.
Heartfelt? From you? Sinbad, you don't have a heart. But that's what I like about you.
Oh, and you are?
Eris, the goddess of discord. Now listen, Sinbad. I saved you from drowning, but you're gonna have to do one little thing for me. Get the Book of Peace and bring it to me.
Well, the Book of Peace protects all of the people in Syracuse.
Exactly. So just imagine how much all of them will pay to get it back.
Well, you let me live, you make me rich. So far, I don't see a downside.
I knew you would see it my way. Now listen, when you've gotten the book, I want you to follow that star beyond the horizon. It'll lead to Tartarus, my realm of chaos.
Well, with Tartarus, I'll see you there.
It's a date then.
Oh!
He's so cute and so gullible. All the pieces are coming together.
This is a story about adventure.
A story about love. A story about loyalty. Sinbad is a world-class thief, and he has his eyes set on the most valuable prize in all of Syracuse, the Book of Peace.
However, along the way, Sinbad is framed by Eris, the goddess of discord.
Sinbad and his crew now have the duty of retrieving the book from Tartarus, Eris' realm of chaos.
All the while, Sinbad finally meets his match, Marina.
Join Sinbad on a journey where we test his loyalty,
unravel his true feelings,
and discover whether he's a thief or a hero in Sinbad, the Legend of the Seven Seas. Screenplay by John Logan.
Sinbad, we've heard enough of your lies. The delegation of the 12 cities find you guilty of treason, and we sentence you to die. Take him away. Are you kidding me? Eris, you framed me. Trust me, ambassadors, the book is in Tartarus. Look, I didn't do...
Stop! I demand the right of substitution.
What? Proteus, what are you doing?
Doing right by a friend. Look, you would do the same for me.
No, I wouldn't.
Sinbad says the book is in Tartarus, and I believe him. Let him go back and retrieve the book.
Proteus, what the... First off, Prince Proteus, you do realize, if Sinbad does not get the book, you will be put to death in his place.
I understand.
So be it. Sinbad, you have 10 days to get the book, or Prince Proteus is executed. Release him.
Oh, and Sinbad, don't be late.
All aboard?
Aye, aye, Captain. Wow, stolen from Venetia and a brothel from Syracuse?
I mean, good guess, but what are you doing here?
I'm Marina.
Proteus' fiance?
Yes, and he sent me to make sure you get the book. So, any idea how we're gonna get to Tartarus?
Tartarus? No. We're going to... Fiji.
Fiji? This time of year?
Yeah, think of the beaches.
Yeah, beautiful. If you like
Then
mosquitoes,
think of the weather.
it's monsoon season.
Then definitely the women.
They're cannibals, Sinbad.
Exactly. Come on, crew.
So first you try to rob Syracuse, but then you agree to travel to save Proteus's life. Which are you, Sinbad? A thief? Or a hero?
Neither. Gentlemen, we have a new course. We're going to Tartarus. Meanwhile, in Tartarus.
Our little thief thinks he's going to pay us a little visit. Well, let's provide him with some mood music. The dragon's teeth? Only a fool would sail through those. Sinbad, are you sure you know
Yes,
what?
Marina, I know what we're doing. And besides, a ship is no place for a woman.
Okay, but do you
Marina
hear?
just...
Oh.
Come and get it, ladies.
Sea sirens, Sinbad?
I mean, who's bad? Sit bad.
Ugh, men. Run the decks!
All right, rock on starboard bow.
Watch the sails!
Doom, doom.
Steady as she goes. So much for steady.
We're gonna die.
Hold on. Whoa. Oh.
Wait, who saved us?
I did. Still think a ship is no place for a woman?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, look at this railing. This is hand-carved mahogany. This is exactly why women shouldn't drive.
You are honestly the most boorish, pig-headed man I've ever met.
Hey, lady, I've seen the high-born boys you hang out with, and I'm the only man you've ever met.
You egotistical,
You spoiled,
disrespectful,
deluded,
pretentious,
high and
pompous,
mighty,
self-centered,
ungrateful,
untrusting,
impossible.
insufferable.
I mean, at least I'm not repressed.
Are you kidding me? I saved your life.
Oh, I would have been fine. I always am.
Enough talking. Time for some screaming.
Alright guys, I've docked the ship for 10 minutes. Find items to fix the ship. I mean, how could one woman do so much damage? I mean, crew.
Shing!
I need a full set of chisels, a jack plane, and about a cord of cut wood.
Sinbad, all you need is a little bit of sap, and she'll be as good as new.
You know, Marina, when I want your advice, I'll call.
Wait a minute. What's that sound?
It's just a fish.
Sinbad? Oh, Sinbad, it's a bird!
Run between its legs! You know, I think we lost him.
I don't think so!
Left! I mean, right! You know, I think we lost him. Get back on the ship! Jump! Oh!
Wow, the granite gates of Tartarus.
Bet you thought we wouldn't make it this far.
No, I didn't, but Proteus did for some reason. He trusted you.
Well, what could he have been thinking?
What happened between you two anyway?
As Proteus and I got older, our lives began to change. Well, Proteus is royalty. I was never jealous, though. Until one morning, a ship came into harbor, a ship with his future on it. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
And what was on the ship?
You. Marina, look. I loved you. I always have. And Proteus met you at the dock, so I took the first outbound ship, and I've never looked back. Well, Marina. Until now.
No.
No.
What about Proteus?
Yeah. Proteus. Crew, if I don't make it, it's been a pleasure.
Look, I'm coming with you. And don't say that the realm of chaos is no place for a woman.
Well, I would never say that.
Bravo! No mortal has ever made it to Tartarus. Alive, that is.
You know, Eris will just take the book of peace and get out of your way.
And what makes you think I have the book?
Well, you framed me for theft so they would execute me.
You?
Yeah. Wait, no, Proteus. You thought he would take my place. You thought I would run, then Syracuse would be
left without the next rightful royal and tumble into glorious chaos. Listen, Sinbad, I'm gonna ask you one simple question, and if you answer truthfully, the book is yours.
Well, ask your question.
Excellent. Now we all know that if you don't get the book, you have a choice to make. Either sail to paradise with the woman of your dreams, or go back to Syracuse to die. You're either a thief or a hero. So here's my question, Sinbad. If you don't get the book,
Hero?
will you go back to die?
Well, I will go back.
You're lying.
What? No! Marina, I'm sorry. Eris was right about me.
No, you told the truth.
It wasn't the truth. It was me trying to pass myself off as something that I'm not.
No, Sinbad, I've seen who you are. Eris trapped you.
Marina.
And why should you or Proteus or anyone have to die for that?
Marina, no!
Sinbad, I can't watch you die because I love you.
But could you love a man who would run away? Doom.
Shing!
Proteus, time is up. Stop! Bet you thought I wouldn't make it.
No, but you came back anyway.
I mean, how could I do anything else? My friend?
How dare you! Everything was going perfectly, and now you do this!
Eris, I don't understand.
Sinbad, maybe you can fool these people, but I know who you are. You're a selfish, unprincipled liar!
But I didn't lie! I came back, that's why you're here. This is all part of your test. I told the truth.
Sinbad, don't play coy with me, but lucky for you, I've got places to go, things to destroy and stuff to steal, so ta-ta.
Shh. The book? Oh, chick. All aboard.
Excuse me, Captain.
Marina?
But these rig joints need to be replaced. The mizzen ropes need the support.
These joints are from the Jasmine Sea. That's halfway across the world.
Well, then we'd better get started.
What happened to Proteus?
Well, his heart lies on the throne of the 12 cities, but mine is sailing with the next tide.
Well, that's a very long voyage and very, very dangerous.
Don't worry. I'll protect you.
Yes, who is this?
It's Gabriel.
Gabriel, oh, hello.
You should come home. It's Dad. I'll be right there.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I had a hot date, and wow.
Elias, the hospital called. Dad's dead.
So it finally happened, huh? Oh, Gabriel, we'll get through this together.
Elias, we talked about this.
I know, but you just smell so damn good.
What?
What? Any last words?
No, but he left us this videotape.
Well, what's it say?
Gabriel and Elias, I never told you about your true past and parentage. I am not your biological father. Oh, a bug in my face. Your real father was a man named Thanatos, and Mom's not your biological mother either. Oh, it's a swarm. You two don't even have the same Well,
it can't just end there. There's got to be more.
What about my mom?
We're still brothers. We have the same dad.
It all makes sense. We don't even look alike. Your mom must have had the ugly gene. Gabriel and Elias are two adopted half-brothers who set off to find their biological father, Evelio Thanatos.
In search for Evelio and their separate mothers, they learn more about their strange biological past.
However, this discovery will change their perspectives on family and brotherhood.
All the while being beaten by mute swans. Men and Chicken by Anders Thomas Jensen.
I think the ferry's just up the road. Okay, so I read up on our biological father, Evelio. It says he lives on the island of Orc, and he's also a crazy stem cell scientist. Here's the ferry. Where's the captain?
Hey, boys. How you doing? You can sit right here next to me. The captain.
But there are 30 other seats open.
But I said right here. Sweetie.
This is quite the nice ferry you have.
Oh, you're talking about my boat, aren't you?
Yeah, your fanny. Very. Do you know Evelio Thanatos and his wife?
Well, sure, he's had a few wives, but he's healthy. He lives at the old sanitarium, and I live at 821 Roosevelt. Be there at 8 the keys under the mat.
Wait, what?
And we're here!
Whoa! Shh! Elias, don't you work out?
No, I work indoors.
What?
What? Here we are!
Oh, sanitarium. Evelio is in there.
Hey, as the older brother, I'll knock.
Hey, look at all these old animals. They're all so odd. Yes, who are you?
Hello there, my name is Elias, and this is my little brother Gabriel, and we come from the mainland,
We're searching for Evelio Thanatos.
We're his biological sons.
Front!
Yes.
Somebody.
Yes.
Now. Two men, one stupid, one ugly. They also say they're Evelio's sons.
But Gregor, we are also Avilio's biological sons.
So we're all half-brothers. Can we see Avilio?
No! He has a very serious case of tripadopoditis.
I've never heard of tripadopoditis.
Are you from the hospital?
No, I'm just curious.
Did you just interrupt me?
Is that a mute swan?
Bosh!
Look, I'm not mad you beat Gabriel with the mute swan. I should have been protecting him, but could we just all try and act like adults here? Is that another mute swan, though? Hey, Gabriel, he's got another
Bosh! I demand to speak to our father, and then I want to go to the hospital.
Well, he is sleeping. So, Gabriel, what do you do?
I teach philosophy at the university.
You should study chicken.
Do you have any kind of education?
No. But I had the donkey once.
So, Avilio, can I go see him?
No! He is upstairs, and that is out of bounds.
Psst, Elias, let's go see Avilio.
Gabriel, it's too dark. I can't see.
Here's a flashlight. I don't need it.
Fine.
Boom, 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 boom.
Elias, shut up.
I thought we were spies.
Spies don't sing when they're on the job.
I think you're wrong.
All right, this is the door.
I got this.
If you hit it with your... That works too.
Whoa, look at all these books. I know, he has picture books too.
Avilio's dead.
Oh, looks like we won't be getting much information out of him. Hey, with some luck, we can still find your mom. Come on. Hey, Gabriel, you want to come play badminton with us?
No.
Look, I know you're still upset about Avilio, but come on, we're your brothers.
Half brothers. And I said no. Franz! Our father's dead upstairs. We need to start acting like normal people.
Normal people? What the hell?
The animals go outside.
No.
We wash our hands before we eat.
No.
And we must stop eating each other with mute swans.
Well, that just does it. This is utter madness. If you think you can just come on here and just... Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Is that Dad's basement?
It's out of bounds. It's one rule around here that you will never change.
That basement is hiding something.
Hey, Gabriel, you want to come pluck the chickens?
No, I would not like to pluck the chicken. Put the chicken down. Listen, I think Avilio had some secrets from our past hidden in his basement.
Yeah, I overheard you and Franz talking. Maybe there is something. I mean, would you just look at this chicken? Doesn't it seem a little strange to you?
Moo!
Did that chicken just moo?
It kind of looks like a cow, too. I know Avilio was a stem cell scientist, but this is incredible. I have to see what's down there now.
And I'll go ask Gregor if he can let us in. Hey, Gregor.
Nah.
Gregor.
Nah.
Gregor.
Nah.
Gregor, if I could get you some girls.
Girls?
Yes, girls.
Okay.
Could you get us into that basement?
How many?
Isn't just one enough?
Yes, one is good.
I'm just gonna go.
Okay, bye.
Gregor!
Franz.
What are you talking to Elias about?
I was just saying how Gabriel...
Gabriel? I still don't trust that Gabriel.
What about Elias?
Oh, I like Elias. He's a good egg with good hair, too.
Come on, Gabriel. Gregor unlocked the door for us.
Perfect. Let's go.
Boom, 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 boom.
Elias, we talked about this.
I know, but it just seems so right.
How am I related to you? Come on.
Whoa. You sure liked animals.
Look at these hybrids. And Elias, this is Avilio's journal. Our past is in here.
Hey, Gabriel, look at how unsturdy this structure is.
Elias, don't break that.
Don't worry, I won't. Oh, no.
You idiot. Franz probably heard that thought.
Well, it was very poorly manufactured.
Come on. I can't see Franz, and I left Avilio's journal.
I told you that basement was out of bounds.
I was just...
Oh, Elias, I forgive you. Now here, hit Gabriel.
Elias, don't.
Bah!
Elias, why would you hit me? Aren't you above them?
Gabriel, I'm sorry I hit you. It's just...
I'm always the one helping you, and you still managed to get me hurt. Forget this. I'm going home.
Okay, let me just say goodbye to everyone and we'll go.
I don't want you to come.
But you need me.
I don't need you, Elias. You ruined my life.
I haven't.
You have. You're stupid. You're useless. And you've held me back this entire time. I just missed my only chance to read Avilio's journal and learn more about my past, and that was because of you! Elias, you belong here.
Oh, I'm your older brother. I was just trying to protect you and...
You're no older brother to me.
Am I really that useless?
No, Elias, you fit in with us.
Well, okay.
But you still have to take me to the girls. I can't believe it. We're going to see the girls. What if they don't want us?
Well, that would be the first time in history a girl didn't want some of this.
I'm glad to see you happy again, Elias.
Me too. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, ladies, settle down. Gregor, Is this a senior center?
Yes, quite a fine selection, I know.
Not really. There's only a couple old ladies and a nurse.
Wait, there's another one. I got dibs on the jigsaw lady.
It smells like death in here.
I have to get off this island.
Gabriel, it's me.
Who?
The captain.
Who?
The captain.
Listen up, honey buns. You cannot give up on your journey. You have to find your past.
Captain, have you been stalking me?
No, I've only been following your every move. There's a difference.
Well, I don't care about my journey anymore.
Well, you should. For yourself and for your family.
Well, I'm not like them. Why would I care?
Gabriel, family is family. And that's what matters.
I think you're right, Captain.
I know. I'll see you around, sweet cheeks.
I have to go back.
This is good chicken. Gabriel.
I'm going back in that basement and you can't stop me.
Ugh. Hey, you come back here! I have never been down here before. What is that?
It's Avilio's journal. It's about our past.
Go on then. Read it.
Okay. He writes, his first son was born, part bull, and then the second part owl. He was displeased with them and left them up for adoption on the mainland, and the mothers died at birth.
Those first two children sound like you and Elias. So are we all part animal?
Yes.
So Elias is part bull, and you are part owl, and Gregor?
Dog.
That one makes sense. But what am I?
You don't want to know.
You tell me!
You're part chicken.
I am no chicken!
Franz, it's okay.
But why am I the chicken?
This whole family isn't normal, Franz. But that's what makes us family.
Maybe chicken, not so bad.
Elias,
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
It's just, you said some really harsh words.
I know, and I'm sorry.
You were right. I'm not altogether normal, Gabriel.
None of us really are.
Gabriel, half-brothers or not, I love you.
Elias, we're brothers.
But what about your mom? In the past, you were so invested.
This whole time, I've been searching for my family from the past. But Franz, Gregor, and you are the only family I really need. We might not be normal, but we're together.
And that's what matters.
Throughout the entirety of his campaign, President Donald Trump kept a very small inner circle. The people in this inner circle then went on to become important advisors and strategists in the Donald Trump organization within his cabinet positions and his advisors in the White House. However, within the White House, there is the competition between the advisors over who has the better ideas and who Donald Trump should really listen to. Therefore, when asked today's question, who among his inner circle has the most influence on Trump's decision-making, the obvious answer is his son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner, because of the fact that Donald Trump has implemented him into important situations within government and dealings with other governments. And this can be seen through three main trains of thought. This can first be seen through how Jared Kushner has been a strategic part in the negotiations between the United States and Mexico. Next, how he has been an important part in brokering a deal between Israel and Palestine. And lastly, how the decline of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has led to a very large growth of Jared Kushner in the government. But first, we must understand how Jared Kushner has been an important part of the negotiations between the United States and Mexico, and how Donald Trump has implemented in this and has a lot of trust of him in this matter. Jared Kushner has been a very large part of the negotiations between the United States and Mexico ever since Donald Trump sort of pulled out, how he got tired of arguing back and forth with Mexico's president, as stated in a CNN article on April 3rd, 2017. Jared Kushner then went on to become an important shadow diplomat, as cited by the Washington Post on February 10th, 2017. This means that while there were diplomats specifically designated to the issue, Jared Kushner was sort of behind the scenes, and Donald Trump had a lot of trust in him in order to make important decisions in the negotiations, and how the arguments back and forth actually were a very large representation of Jared Kushner's main ideals, as stated later in the same Washington Post article. Therefore, it can be seen through this that Mr. Kushner has been an important part in the negotiations between the United States and Mexico, and Donald Trump has had a lot of trust of him in making decisions in how the negotiations should be carried out. Therefore, this means that Donald Trump has a lot of trust in him, and he is listening to him. which is why Jared Kushner is one of the most important people in influencing Donald Trump's decision making. Next, we must understand the brokering of the deal between Israel and Palestine and the arguments between the two countries, and how Jared Kushner has been and Mr. Kushner has been a very important part of these negotiations. Jared Kushner has been an important part of the negotiations ever since Donald Trump trusted him and even stated, "I believe that Mr. Kushner is the right man for the job," as stated in a CNN article on January 18th, 2017. Jared Kushner has been given the go-ahead by Donald Trump to broker a deal, as stated in the CNN article. Therefore, President Trump believes that he can get the job done, and he does have the right ideas in mind for this deal. When understanding this, we need to note that that Jared Kushner is his son-in-law. Therefore, there's already an established level of trust there. And by putting Mr. Kushner in an important job within the government, it is only proving and showing that Donald Trump has a lot of trust in him and will listen to him. In addition, this is also something President Barack Obama wanted to stay away from, according to the CNN article. And this fact helps to prove that Jared Kushner has a very large influence over Donald Trump, because a past president stayed away from it. Therefore, it shows that the idea is highly debated, and there's a lot of controversy over the issue for a president to stay away from it. Therefore, Donald Trump needed to entrust a man who he would listen to and he trusts. Therefore, this can be shown how Jared Kushner has a lot of influence over Donald Trump and is very trusted by the president. Lastly, as cited in a Reuters article, this topic is as we learned earlier, it is tough to handle by the Reuters article on January 27th, 2017. And by looking this, Jared Kushner has a lot of influence over the decision-making in this topic and over the president, as cited by the same Reuters article. Lastly, we must understand the decline of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson with the allegations over Russia and his relation to the allegations, and why this has in fact led to a rise in Jared Kushner and Donald Trump listening to Mr. Kushner. As cited on The Atlantic on March 23rd, 2017, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has been a large part of the allegations between the United States and Russia. This means that since the allegations are with concerns to him and his ties to Russia, he has been taking a declining role in the White House, since there's a lot of controversy over him and being such a high position. Therefore, someone needed to step up and take this place, and the Atlantic article cites that Jared Kushner was the man to do this. Mr. Kushner stepped up to take his place because he was able to successfully negotiate with foreign nations, a job that the Secretary of State tends to do. Their job is to negotiate with foreign nations over deals and treaties. Mr. Kushner then stepped up to take this place, as stated in the earlier situations. Therefore, it was important that President Trump listened to Mr. Kushner over these issues, as the current Secretary of State was under fire from these allegations. Therefore, this only increases the influence that Mr. Kushner would have over the president, as he's stepping up to take a higher role in the White House, even though it is not his official title. In addition to this, an NPR article on February 17th, 2017 cites that the decline of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson only increased the power that someone in that position would have. Therefore, this would be increasing the power that Mr. Kushner has and influence over the president, which would only increase the amount of influence he has over the decision-making by President Trump. So when asked today's question, who among his inner circle has the most influence on Trump's decision-making, we looked at three main reasons why it is his son-in-law and senior advisor, Mr. Jared Kushner. We first looked at his negotiations between himself and the Mexican president. Next, we understood the relations between Israel and Palestine and a brokering of the peace by Mr. Kushner. And lastly, we understood the decline of Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, and which only led to the rise of Mr. Kushner and his influence over Donald Trump. Thank you.
What you don't know can hurt you. That's why we take the time to read the ingredients that go into our food. We protect ourselves against disease by sanitizing our hands and taking our daily multivitamins. So, why is it that we fail when it comes to nourishing and protecting our skin? It's time to start paying as much attention to what we put on our bodies as to what we put in them. But is there a product that's safe to use in the shower every day? Healthy sanitation is only a scrub away thanks to Bare soaps. Today, we will lay bare the company's squeaky clean history, scrub up on the amazing benefits of switching to Bare, see how Bare leaves its competitors in the suds, and lastly, we'll take a look at the new and refreshing philanthropic values of Bare. Bare, or BARE, bringing antiseptic resources to everyone, was created when the founder, Claire Lee, went on a mission trip and recognized the need for soap products that would support a basic hygiene. After her return, Claire witnessed a problem with soap a little closer to home. The soaps we tend to see may sanitize, but actually work in reverse when it comes to nourishing and protecting our skin. In August of 2014, Claire created a company that brought to life her threefold vision: create all natural products for those at home, make the packaging for that product 100% eco-friendly, all while creating a substantial sanitation program for those lacking sanitation in Kabaramaido, Uganda, and eventually Kalwa Slum, India. The official launch of Bare was in 2014. Today, you can have Bare delivered directly to your doorstep with just a click of a button on the Bare website. The skin, it's our largest organ. It allows us to absorb 60% of the materials we lather on it, including vitamins and minerals. But with that, also toxins. We wouldn't put harmful chemicals on the inside of our body, so why would we put it on our skin? When we use commercial bars of soap, we are allowing synthetic compounds like tetrasodium itridonate to enter our bloodstream and affect our internal balance, as well as damage our actual skin. However, real soaps like Bare use all natural ingredients, simple things such as olive oil and shea butter. And every single one of Bare soaps contains only the highest quality of oils that produces not only a silky lather, but helps to hydrate your skin. All of Bare's products undergo a 4-week process before they are sold, all just to ensure quality. Bare has a different bar of soap for all of your different needs. If you're looking for a basic bathroom soap, try Bare's line of classic hand soaps in a variety of different textures and aromas, including my personal favorite, the Poppy Seed Sunshine Bar, made with the petals of the sweet calendula flower, known for its healing properties and terrific scent. Bare also offers customers different facial and body soaps. The Squeaky Clean Shave Bar is the perfect longer-lasting alternative to traditional shaving creams. The Silk Facial Bar definitely lives up to its luxurious name with its silky lather, yet still provides practicality with its use of avocado oils and rose clay to decrease dark spots. Bare's most popular soap, Starry Nights, is the perfect 3-in-1 facial treatment. Starry Nights captures the beneficial properties of activated charcoal to decrease blackheads, calm acne, and can easily remove makeup. Bare also offers customers different candles, bath bombs, and even organic toothpaste. All of Bare's products are 100% organic, handmade, eco-friendly, and never tested on animals. But how does Bare scrub away the competition? Well, for starters, Bare won't clean your wallet the way it cleans your skin. Pick up a bar of Bare's most popular soap, the previously mentioned Starry Nights, for only $10 on the Bare website. Where a similar bar of soap from the brand Lush, the charcoal cleanser, costs a whopping $15 per bar. Where you may be able to find a commercial bar of soap like Dove for about $4.50, the money you spend will actually damage your skin. You may have noticed, particularly in the dry winter months, that your commercial bar of soap is causing dryness, irritating your skin, causing or worsening acne, or even disrupting your internal balance. In contrast, real soaps like Bare and even Lush capture the beneficial properties of natural ingredients, in this case charcoal, to intensely clean your skin. When it comes to charitable giving, both Lush and Dove's philanthropic values are worth praise. However, neither's contribution is quite as satisfying, as Bear's whopping 20% of all profits. Speaking of charitable giving, Bear has a rather unique philanthropic vision. Ever since their launch in 2013, Bear has committed 20% of all profits to creating long-term sustainable sanitation in underdeveloped countries. To put it into perspective, the national average for charitable giving by for-profit companies is only 5%, according to nptrust.org. Bear gives back to Kabaramaido, Uganda in a couple ways. Bear helps the residents by providing them with basic necessities, such as vitamins, vaccines, soaps, and locally made leather shoes. The next step is stimulating the local economy in Kabaramaido. Bear does this by teaching residents to create soap for purchase, and later distributing to their friends in need. The third and final step in Kabaramaido is creating long-term agricultural sustainability. Bear does this by purchasing goats for families. The families then have the option to decide whether they want to breed and/or trade their goats for other livestock. Meanwhile, in India, Bear gives back to the women of Kalwa by helping them create a larger income for themselves and their families, all through the trade of soap making. Bear also gives these women a sense of empowerment by naming them hygiene ambassadors for their community. For example, when you support Bear, you support women like Shushima, a 32-year-old woman who was once forced to work as a servant. While working, Shushima was often beaten by her employer and rarely ever allowed to see her kids. Currently, thanks to Bear, Shushima now works in one of Bear's many workshops throughout India, where she creates a larger income for herself and her family. Shushima now says she finally feels like an expert in something. A little closer to home, Bear also strides towards helping our environment. Embedded in your packaging's reusable material are wildflower seeds. When your package and product are ready to be discarded, you simply wet the paper and plant it in a thin layer of soil, creating new life from what could have otherwise been wasted packaging. This revolutionary yet simple concept has saved over 21,000 feet in plastic shrink wrapping alone. Bear has done the unimaginable by changing nighttime routines for some and lives overall for others with just a simple bar of soap. Now what you do know can help you. So choose a company that supports quality of product as well as quality of life. All is possible with Bear soaps.
Bobby Anthony Bramble, you get down from there, shouted Bobby's mother. You'll fall and crack your head open like Humpty Dumpty. But Bobby had ants in his pants, a thirst for adventure and energy to spare. He loved to climb, hop, jump, slide, swing, sprint, hang upside down, and generally give gravity a run for its money. He was fast, strong, and brave. But no one seemed to care about that. People only seemed to care about his head cracking open and his brain scrambling out. Sometimes it seems that little kids just don't use their brains. However, other times it's clear they don't have one. Bobby Bramble Loses His Brain by Dave Keene. It's bad enough having a little brother, grumbled Becky, Bobby's older sister, but a brainless little brother would be more than I could handle. A mind is a terrible thing to lose, warned Grandpa. You're really gonna need your brain, Bobby, cried Bonnie, Bobby's younger sister, because you're not very pretty. Ugh! Will you guys stop worrying about my brain? Brain? I'm not some kind of egghead, you know. I'm naturally hard-headed. But the very next day, while Emily Philbart, the Brambles' babysitter, was busy putting on lip gloss, Bobby's head did crack open, and his brain just ran off as if it had a mind of its own.
Hi, Mrs. Bramble. This is Emily.
Well, Bobby was on the roof pretending he was escaping from prison, and, well, it was actually Bobby's brain that escaped. Just then, Mr. Bramble burst through the front door. Are you all right, son? Snakes, fleas, ferrets, gum, apple, carrots.
He's as dumb as an onion, Dad. Poor boy's got no brain to give his tongue directions.
Soon, the neighborhood buzzed with excitement when the didn't know, ha! Channel 8 Action News pulled up in front of the Brambles' home. And before long, Bobby's father offered a $20 reward for the safe return of his son's most vital organ. No questions asked. The mailman almost caught the runaway brain in his hat after it sprang out of a mailbox. Then Mr. Lopez, an avid fisherman, nearly netted the stray, but Bobby's brain seemed to avoid capture with the slight trick of the mind.
I've got it,
cried Mrs. Bagelman from her vegetable garden. However, upon further inspection, her apron yielded nothing but a rather sad-looking head of butter lettuce. Oh, Bonnie hung up wanted posters all around the neighborhood. Becky tracked sightings on a map, and Grandpa set out brain traps using flashcards as bait. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 5. But it was no use. It seemed as if they'd never get Bobby's brain back in one piece, and Bobby would spend the rest of his days doing handstands and backflips without a thought in his head. We need someone fast and strong and brave to help us capture Bobby's brain. We need someone like Bobby. Maybe we just need Bobby. All right, son, take a good whiff. Where's that brain?
Go get it. Go get it, little fella. Get that little brain.
Just then, Bobby was startled out of his empty-headed stare by an ear-splitting screech of skidding tires. Bobby's brain had run into the street, acting on gut instinct alone. Bobby shot out of the kitchen window like a cannonball before anyone could think to yell, "Fetch!" Bobby tore after his brain with the speed of a racehorse, footwork of a jackrabbit, and dexterity of a circus monkey. When Bobby's brain sprang over a hedge, Bobby sprang higher. When Bobby's brain zigged, Bobby zagged. And when Bobby's brain tried to outrun him, Bobby turned on the afterburners and pounced like a seasoned rodeo cowboy. Bobby rode his buckling brain down the street as it jumped, jerked, and spun wildly out of control. It was, everyone agreed, a classic battle of brains versus brawn. But finally, sensing Bobby's exceptional balance, surprising strength, and unbreakable determination, Bobby's brain came to a full and complete stop. For 3 whole minutes, the pair remained motionless as they came to grips that they worked better as a team. Bobby's brain now understood that it would never get very far in life without all of the advantages that a body provided, and Bobby's body somehow sensed that life without his brain would be a hollow one. Perhaps they were just meant to be together. So without thinking, Bobby popped his brain back into his head. A curious crowd had gathered to see if the Bramble boy once again had his wits about him. Come on, son, say something. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Mom, can we order pizza for dinner? Thunderous cheers erupted from everyone. 2 days later, after Bobby had tried, unsuccessfully, to launch himself into Mrs. Bagelman's swimming pool, Bobby's brain once again tried to escape. But thanks to his brand new football helmet, Bobby's brain was outsmarted. And Bobby's been one step ahead of his brain ever since.
In today's world, rapper and musician Kanye West is known for being, well, an idiot. Kanye isn't highly respected. However, there's a characteristic of Kanye that we all should take to heart, and that's his confidence. Say what you will about his intelligence or his class or his manners, but the man loves himself. And you have to have that confidence and that love of yourself and what you will do in order to succeed in the harsh world that we live in. That's what's said in today's quotation by Britney Spears. I go through life like a karate kid. What's being said in today's quotation is that in order to succeed in this life, you have to have the utmost confidence and assurance in yourself and your capabilities. And we can further understand this through 3 specific facets of analysis. First, we're going to take a look at model Cheryl Diamond. Secondly, we're going to look at U.S. Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. And thirdly, we are going to look at the Look Good, Feel Better program. First, let's take a look at model Cheryl Diamond. Now, Cheryl Diamond is a well-known New York model, particularly known for her interesting look and interesting style. What's fascinating about Cheryl Diamond, however, is the story behind how she became a successful model. She moved to New York by herself at the age of 16, lived in an apartment that she rented, living week by week and paycheck by paycheck, and she met a lot of people and encountered a lot of situations that tested that ability to be confident in herself. The modeling world is often known for knocking down models and making them feel terrible about themselves in order to capitalize off of that insecurity. However, Cheryl always kept that confidence in herself and knew what she could do and what she deserved because of this. And she went through life with that Karate Kid mentality that Britney Spears is speaking of in today's quotation. She didn't hesitate, she didn't question herself, there was no doubt. Instead, she knew what her capabilities were and she knew that she could do this, and because of that, she moved forward aggressively and confidently. That's truly what's being said in today's quotation by Britney Spears and what we need to find within ourselves to be successful in a harsh world. We have to be able to trust our abilities and because of that, move forward in a way in which, no matter what other people say, we won't be knocked down. Secondly, we can take a look at Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American woman to be elected to the U.S. Congress. Now, Shirley Chisholm did many important and successful things in her time in Congress, but one of the hardest things that a lot of people may not account for is all of the hate that she got from those around her. Nobody really wanted an African-American woman in Congress in the time that she was elected. And she had to go through life and through her career like a karate kid. If she second-guessed herself or let others knock her down permanently when she may have messed up, then she wouldn't have gotten very far. Truly, that's what's being reflected in today's quotation, and that's what we need to take away from it. This idea that while there are people around us who won't like us or who will try and knock us down, like Shirley Chisholm faced in an almost all-white, all-male Congress, we have to continue to fight against them. And like the Karate Kid, get up every time we fall. Thirdly, we can take a look at the Look Good, Feel Better campaign and program and how this assisted women in having that Karate Kid mindset. Look Good, Feel Better was a program started for women who are living with cancer and focused on the idea of helping them to regain that confidence in themselves. Certainly, fighting a horrible disease like cancer requires that Karate Kid mentality. You have to be strong and aggressive and continue fighting even though it's difficult. And Look Good, Feel Better assisted in this by giving women makeovers, allowing them access to things that might not have been their focus during treatment, making them look good so they felt better about themselves and were then able to have that confidence to move forward and continue fighting their disease. When we get down in the dumps about ourselves and don't have that confidence, it's easy that for when something knocks us down, for us to not get back up again or to not want to keep going in that fight. However, what Look Good, Feel Better shows us is that if we have that confidence in ourselves, then we'll be able to get up and keep fighting that fight, no matter how difficult it may be. So we look back on today's quotation by Britney Spears, "I go through life like a karate kid." We can see through Cheryl Diamond, Shirley Chisholm, and the Look Good, Feel Better campaign that in life, if we want to be successful, we have to have confidence in ourselves and what we know we can do. And just like Kanye shows us, even though it's hard, if you love yourself and remember that mentality, you'll do great things. Thank you.
Whether it be in our day-to-day interactions, our view of politics, or just general world affairs, we often see things as two-sided, the good and the bad, the light and the dark. But this dual perception of morality might be more skewed than we think. To determine what is right and wrong is not an easy task and one that varies subjectively. That concept is morbidly addressed in today's quotation by Shakespeare. "Hell is empty, and all the devils are here." What we can learn from this quotation is that in order to move forward as a society, we have to address that human nature is inherently flawed. First, we'll examine this through Thomas Hobbes, the Enlightenment philosopher. Next, through the subprime mortgage crisis that tanked America's economy. And finally, through the Pink Floyd album, The Wall. First, let's take a look at how the philosopher Thomas Hobbes used his beliefs to influence our government and how he believed that human nature was too flawed. Hobbes believed that humans couldn't be trusted. We were simply too immoral. We acted selfishly and often in our own interests. For this reason, Hobbes advocated for a strong central government, one that would curtail personal liberties in order to protect security. He believed, just like Shakespeare, that human nature had devils in of itself, and that society as a whole was by itself flawed. In order to address this was his justification for advocating a strong government, one that would prevent us from acting freely, but one that would protect us from ourselves. In his eyes, the greatest danger of them all. This philosophy is often addressed in the totalitarian philosophies of government that we now see in the world today, prioritizing one's own protection and security over the personal liberties of everyone else. And we can see that Shakespeare had some truth in what he was saying, because human nature does cause us to commit acts that we regret, immoral actions that sway our belief of what it is to be right and wrong. Next, let's take a look at how Wall Street bankers in 2008 crashed our economy. Now, during the housing bubble, Wall Street bankers introduced things called CDOs, or collateralized debt obligations, which were essentially products to confuse consumers and fuel money into an endless machine that was the real estate market. The CDOs were horrible, risky bonds that were offered to consumers and repackaged as safe, valuable assets. The Wall Street bankers who were engaging in these activities knew that they were selling consumers faulty products, and this was, in their own eyes, how they were immoral, and what Shakespeare would have seen as the devils in our society, the ones who acted without reason or without morality. What eventually happened was that their immoral actions and their deceit caused the American economy to tank because consumers weren't informed about what they were buying and what they were doing. In order to protect ourselves against these kinds of disasters, we have to recognize that people always act in their own self-interest, and that especially Wall Street, a place of financial gain and excessive money, people will always act to backstab others. And finally, let's take a look at how the Pink Floyd album, The Wall, was essentially about a human and his ability to deal with the devils in his society. The album was written by Roger Waters, the lead guitarist of Pink Floyd, and he wrote the lyrics often about his own life and the struggles he endured. When he was young, he lost his father in World War II, and in school, he was harmfully abused and hurt by his teachers and other students. His mother wasn't exactly caring or kind either. This is why he created an internal wall that surrounded himself and wrote the album about how he dealt with the devils in society by isolating himself and protecting himself from becoming just as evil as those around him. In the eyes of Shakespeare, Roger Waters was recognizing the devils around him, but simply shielding himself from their influence. So today, we've discussed exactly how immorality can influence every aspect of our lives. We saw this first through Thomas Hobbes and his belief that we should protect ourselves from each other. Next, through the subprime mortgage crisis and the faults of deceiving customers. And finally, through how Pink Floyd and The Wall are our way of protecting ourselves from the immoral influences that surround us in our everyday lives. So in the end, it's not about what's right or what's wrong. It's recognizing that much is wrong and we must pursue the moral. Thank you.
In October 2001, 3 different news outlets began reporting stories about the United States invasion into Afghanistan. Today, we know the objective facts of this story to be that President Bush decided to send troops overseas following the September 11th attacks. However, in October 2001, Fox News began reporting a very one-sided story, making most of their reports positive towards the war. CNN aired many points of view, and their reporters rarely offered opinions. MSNBC's reporters had generally negative articles towards the war. While this rundown may seem specific to this situation, this is a reality that we face every day. Media plays a large part in our lives, whether it be social media or traditional media from news organizations. And the truth about media is that it throws some type of bias our way. Bias meaning opinionated news or facts, or untrue facts altogether. If you use your critical thinking skills, this bias can be seen every time you scroll through your Twitter timeline, or your Facebook feed, or even when you turn on the news in the evening. Today, we will discuss the causes of bias in media, its effects, and discuss how we as a society can come together to solve this problem. The main motivation for the bias that we see in any media today is profit. The most obvious example of this is in news organizations. According to MarketWatch, a large part of their profit or revenue comes from carriage fees. When we pay our cable bill each month, we are indirectly paying a few cents to each of our channels. So if you decide you don't want to have CNN because it is not relevant to you, CNN is losing your few cents each month. And those cents add up. Now, more than ever, it is important to networks for us to like what they're showing. They don't ever want us to change the channel. And to make us stay, they play to our bias. The media can play with us this way because of the psychology behind bias. Have you ever gotten mad when someone gave you advice on a certain situation? Not because it was bad advice, but because it was not what you wanted to hear? Well, that same emotion is applicable to the media that we expose ourselves to. In a study done by the American Psychological Association, it was found that we are generally twice as likely to select information that supports our own point of view rather than information that opposes it. This emotion is called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is defined by Britannica Encyclopedia as the mental conflict that occurs when beliefs or assumptions are contradicted by new information. This is the whole reason that we only expose ourselves to the media that we like. We like to have our opinion validated, not contradicted. That's what it's all about. A big example of this came out during President Trump's inauguration. As many people know, the Oval Office gets a makeover during this transition of power. There was a false claim made by reporter Zeke Miller that the bust of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had been removed from the Oval Office, causing uproar over the supposed actions of the 45th president. However, this claim proved to be false when White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer tweeted a picture of the bust, still in the Oval Office, explaining that it had simply been moved next to the fireplace. This quick reaction among Americans is a prime example of this constant will to have our opinions validated. People were so quick to believe and share this news because it was just another story to validate their opinion of the president. The media capitalizes on this mental state of Americans and uses it in writing their stories. How do they do this? In an article from the magazine Science News, they explained how scientists discovered an algorithm that, after churning through over 200,000 quotes from 275 news outlets, discovered bias in their quote choice. They created a graph which grouped media outlets by their selected quotes, and it revealed pockets that pretty accurately reflected the political leanings of the outlets. In other words, the media selects certain facts or quotes that pertain to the bias in their stories. While it may seem as though the media is deceiving you, they're not the only ones. Even one of the most reliable search engines, Google, is using your own opinions against you. The company uses an algorithm, and based on previous searches and frequently visited websites, narrows down your search results based on your preferences. Google knows you, and it's all a part of the same common goal: turning a profit and keeping viewers and users. With the growth of technology, many people are turning to social media for honest news or facts. Over 50% of millennials get their news from social media. However, according to Pew Research Center, 2/3 of social media users are liberal. While we think we are turning to a more reliable source, in reality, it is just harming us. It's no secret that not everyone is oblivious to the growing bias that is all around us. Bias in our media is becoming so relevant that people are becoming more and more aware of it. Yet while we are aware of it, we still fall victim to it. The Washington Post did a survey among Americans, and a majority of 66% said that news organizations are often inaccurate. However, that number drops to just 30% when those same people are asked the same question about the news organization that you use most. People are aware of the bias that the media throws out there, but don't think it applies to them or the sources they rely on. However, the opposite is true. Our ability to believe these sources no matter what has even in some instances resulted into violence. For example, in 2014, Buddhist nationalist organizations in Myanmar used Facebook to disseminate a false rumor that Muslim men raped a Buddhist woman in the city of Mandalay. The rumor helped spark a riot against Muslims, which left 2 dead and 14 injured. Imagine that. 2 deaths over a false story. Our susceptibility to misleading facts is polarizing us even further and adding to political, religious, and social divides. People's vulnerability to media bias is explained by Professor Michael Bruder, who conducted a study at the London School of Economics and Political Science regarding this issue. He developed a theory which he calls the time bomb effect, which is his name for the idea that though all of our perceptions of truth are skewed to a certain extent, eventually we are all susceptible to the full impact of bias. He also explains in his research that while we may be aware of it, mere cynicism is not enough. It is only delaying the impact. Eventually, we all fall victim to the media's bias, making for a society controlled by our media. In addition to this, bias in the media may be affecting the livelihood and actions of Americans. Students at the Chicago School of Media Theory explain through ancient Greek philosophy that the media is essentially a mirror for our society. We turn on the news in the evening and see something about how one airline is not as good as another, so we adjust our travel plans. Or you read on Twitter that your favorite talk show host dislikes a certain brand of makeup, so you adjust your cosmetics accordingly. The media is, in essence, a mirror we look into each day and see a life in imminent danger. As author John Gordon put it, a society in a state of depression cannot think itself out of a crisis. This issue may seem difficult and hard to resolve, and you would be right about that. There is no way to avoid bias entirely, with the growing number of opinionated journalists and increasing differences in social and political views. However, you can attempt to combat bias and the time bomb effect. Before deciding if information is true or false, we need to fact check, because it's pretty embarrassing to click the share button on Facebook only to find out that the information has been proven wrong. One of the easiest ways to do this is to get information from a larger variety of sources, and to get information from the other end of the spectrum. For example, if you are conservative, try watching just 30 minutes of MSNBC each night. It is even important to get information from sources outside of the United States, such as Bloomberg News or BBC. Another method would be to use a test, such as the CRAP test, with 2 A's, which poses certain questions about a source's currency, relevancy, authority, accuracy, and purpose. Currency and relevancy question the timelessness and importance of the information. Authority and accuracy call the source and its reliability into question. And finally, purpose questions the reason the information exists. To put it simply, if the purpose is not propaganda, the source is not your diary, and it has been updated since 1904, your information is reliable. To keep your Google searches broad and non-personalized, try using an incognito browser, which does not use past search history or add to your current one. A final solution would be to understand the difference between true and false. It's not false because you don't agree, but it's also not true because you do. While it may not be totally avoidable, these are some easy steps to combating bias. So today, we discussed the causes of bias in media, discovered its effects, and hypothesized some solutions to this matter. So be a critical thinker. Each time you see or view something about a substantive issue, whether it be the state of our federal government or the latest and greatest health food, think about the source. In this way, each of us can be one step closer to a more truthful world.
Whether you grew up going to Detroit or are now just looking for a fun place to visit, everyone can enjoy downtown Detroit's Bay Comeback. Campus Martius is now one of America's great urban squares. Millennials are scrambling downtown seeking available spaces to rent. Major tech firms like Twitter are opening up offices in refurbished historic buildings. The Motor City's core is ascendant with more than 40 new businesses opening their doors in Detroit last year. But perhaps nothing is more exciting than Detroit Water Ice, a new ice cream store bringing the city a refreshing, guilt-free dessert. Today, we will dive into the inspiration behind Detroit Water Ice, dip into its amazing taste and quality, freeze out its competition, and swirl through how this healthy dessert company is supporting a safer Detroit. Pretty cool. Last year, Detroit's own Mitch Albom, journalist and best-selling author, made headlines of his own. His big scoop, selling a healthy ice cream alternative and using the profits to support Detroiters. Albom loved the dessert in his native Philadelphia and convinced the makers, John and Adriana Adams, of Primo Water Ice in New Jersey, to share their secret recipe. In 2015, Albom created the Detroit Water Ice Factory and opened its flagship store on Woodward in the heart of Detroit. So, what's the skinny on the factory scoops? Detroit Water Ice is more than water. It's more than ice. It surprisingly goes back to ancient Italy, and now it rules the cities of Philadelphia and Detroit. It's creamy like ice cream, but not fatty. It's fruity like sherbet, but it has no milk products. It's frozen like shaved ice, but no juice runs out. It's cholesterol-free, dairy-free, and fat-free, and yet it's surprisingly delicious. It's the perfect zero-guilt pleasure for whenever our sweet tooth strikes. And the store features over 21 varieties of flavors with a distinctly Detroit tone that are sure to satisfy whatever ice cream mood we are in. You can take your taste buds down memory lane with this refreshing fruit flavor Woodward watermelon, or sample the Motown mint and the chips. It can be difficult to make chocolate blush, but the mint knows just how to complement it. Sports fans may want to kick off the evening with Stafford's strawberry lemonade or Zetterberry Swedish fish, either of which, like their namesakes, are sure to be winners. Or a delight in my mom's choice, Mr. Mitch's chocolate peanut butter, putting Reese's peanut butter cups to shame. Try in your all these varieties of flavors scooped to perfection by a staff of happy de-icers and served in iconic orange cups. You can choose to eat your favorite flavor alone or indulge in my personal favorite, the Motown Twist. This spoonful of heaven is your choice of water ice layered with a scrumptious soft serve of chocolate, vanilla, or twist. A crazy good combo. Not a dairy-free option, but is worth every spoonful. Detroit Water Ice is not just available at the factory on Woodward. If you find yourself watching the Lions at Ford Field, you can enjoy Detroit Water Ice behind sections 113 and 141. But even better, you can eat water ice anywhere with $5 takeout pints and $8 takeout quarts from the factory. If you're planning an event, let them come to you. Detroit Water Ice has dessert covered. And you can find all the information you want at the company website, DetroitWaterIce.com. So what is the scoop with the competition? If Breyers is your dessert delight, relinquish that spoon. The company recently sacrificed quality ingredients for profits, and its formerly all-natural ice cream is now labeled a quality frozen dairy dessert. While less costly at $5 per half gallon, its ingredients list reveals that sugar and corn syrup are the second and third ingredients, even before cream. Who is demanding more corn syrup and guar gum and less cream in their frozen treats? Something more than ice cream is melting away. And Breyers Cherry Vanilla has 120 calories, with 20 from fat in a tiny half-cup serving. You can switch to Detroit Water Ice with no Breyers remorse. Another competitor is Halo Top. Halo Top's pricey $6.99 pints come in only 7 flavors. And while the black cherry has only 70 calories per half-cup serving, its ingredients are far from natural. Erythritol is genetically engineered, and stevia is derived from dextrose and has a known bitter aftertaste that is sure to cause a meltdown. Halo Top is not so heavenly after all. The dessert market is competitive, but there are some great reasons to stock Detroit Water Ice in your freezer. Detroit Water Ice freezes out the competition. It is reasonably priced at $5 per pint and $8 per quart, and it is fat-free, cholesterol-free, all natural, has only 60 calories per half-cup serving, and is stunningly delicious. The cherry on top of this delectable dessert is the Detroit Water Ice Pledge. 100% of the profits from Detroit Water Ice go to helping Detroit's neediest citizens through Mitch Albom's charitable foundation, Say Detroit. Inspired by visits to his dying professor, Maury Schwartz, who taught him giving is living, Mitch Albom started Say Detroit in February 2006 as a response to all the money spent over Super Bowl weekend. He challenged the public to do as much for the homeless all year as the city was doing over that weekend. In partnership with the Detroit Rescue Mission, Say Detroit provides resources serving everyone from newborns to seniors. Through the generosity of Bedrock Real Estate, the factory doesn't even pay rent for the store. And this helps Say Detroit remain a 100% dollar in, dollar out charity. So when we buy Detroit Water Ice, we contribute directly to many important Say Detroit causes, like a state-of-the-art kitchen at the Michigan Veterans Foundation, as well as helping families fight their way out of poverty by funding the nation's first full-time medical clinic for homeless children and their mothers, and a full-time daycare center for the children of homeless women seeking work. Additionally, Say Detroit has newly refurbished homes for poor but working families that are deeded over to them after only 2 years of occupancy. With a chain of charities, Say Detroit funds dozens of projects for Detroit area agencies. Through a spirit of innovation and giving, Detroit Water Ice's promise is to provide a unique dessert. Mitch Albom explains the mission of the factory this way: we are here to create jobs, raise funds, do good, and eat ourselves silly with the coolest dessert ever. So do yourself a flavor and go try it. As Mitch Albom says, there's no calories in doing good. So dig in.
Listen, his father made a habit out of hitting him. See, some men drink, some men yell, and some men hit their children. Beethoven. In Shane Koizan's Beethoven and Hilary Kobernick's The Last Judgment, 2 poets examine the struggle of 2 artists as they strive for artistic genius. Little boy living in a house where a name meant nothing. Living in a house where mercy had to be earned through every perfect note, tumbling up through the rooftops to tickle the toes of angels whose harps couldn't hold half the passion held in the hands of a young boy who was hard of hearing. Beethoven, who heard his father's anthem every time he set finger to ivory. Not good enough. So he played slowly. Not good enough. So he played softly, not good enough. So he played strongly, and when he could play no more, when his fingers curled up like gnarled tree roots, it was not good enough. Beethoven, a musician without his most precious tool, his eardrums couldn't pound the rhythms to the symphonies that played in his head, couldn't hear the audiences clapping, couldn't hear the people loving him, couldn't hear the women in the front row whisper, Beethoven, as they let the music invade their nervous system like an armada, firing cannonballs that detonated every molecule in their bodies into explosions of heavenly sensation, each note leaving track marks over every inch of their body, making them ache for just one more hit. The man was an addiction. But kings, queens, it didn't matter. The man got on his knees for no one, but amputated the legs of his piano so he could feel the vibrations in the floor. The man got on his knees for music. And when the orchestras played his songs, it was the echo of his father's anthem repeating itself like a broken record, not good enough. So they played slowly, not good enough. So they played softly, not good enough. So they played strongly, not good enough. And so they tried to mock the man, make fun of the madness, mimicking the movements, holding their bows just a quarter inch above the strings, making no noise. It was perfect. See, the deaf have an intimacy with silence. It's there in their dreams. The musicians turned to one another, not knowing what to make of the man, and trying to calculate the distance between madness and genius. Realizing that Beethoven's measurements could take you to distances reaching far past the towers of Babylon, turn solar systems into symbols, cause comets to collide, creating crescendos so loud they shook the very constellations until stars began to fall from the sky. And it looked as though the entire universe had begun to cry. No. The man must be a genius. This is Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. This is the ceiling, the beginning of creation. Adam reached for God, God reached for Adam. Their fingers could not touch. There was sin. This is Michelangelo's Last Judgment. This is not the reason people come to the Sistine Chapel, yet it stands directly behind the altar. These are the saints. They will touch God. These are the sinners. They will reach for God. They will reach, and they will reach, and they will burn. Michelangelo declined payment for the Last Judgment, hoped God would notice, hoped his faith would eke past his sin. Posterity tells us that Michelangelo is in heaven. Most of us don't remember the rumors, how he carved David far more lovingly than just a man, how men begged his hands to carve them, how he wanted to hold a man in prayer like a rosary, but held that rosary like a shield against evil, promised God he would rather love stone than a man. he would never let the fingers touch. I wonder, did Michelangelo ever stand under his chapel at night, neck arched back like a rainbow, see Adam reaching for God? Did he beg God to notice how the fingers didn't touch? Michelangelo, we all have things to be forgiven for. But may we be damned if we damn you for your love. I hope in heaven there is a Sistine Chapel. I hope the ceiling is 2 inches shorter. I hope you realize that we are not saved by outstretched fingers. We are saved by the touching. This time, dip your paintbrush into the sun and sculpt a sanctuary more secure than anyone you left on earth. Paint men smiling, paint fingers touching. Lie on the ceiling of the earth and watch over us all who need you down here. All the boys that paint their skin with razors and ropes paint their hearts all the colors of heaven that we can't see from here. Michelangelo, you who adorned the Sistine Chapel, you who sculpted David into flesh, you must know how infinite the distance is between who we are and who we are afraid to be. Tell us God doesn't care. Be the patron saint of it's okay, and you can come out now. Intercept our prayers and remind us that sometimes the ones we most need forgiveness from is ourselves. Tell us in heaven the ceiling is exactly the way it's meant to be. Tell us the last judgment is a heart growing arteries, because in heaven, loving hurts less. When I die, catch me. Speed me on your wings to God, but before we get there, show me your new ceiling. Show me what love looks like in heaven.
Lyle and Eric Menendez lived seemingly normal lives for teens in Beverly Hills, California. But on August 20th, 1989, they pointed a gun at the back of their father's head, killing him, just before shooting their mother several times, killing her as well. So what happened? What made these normal teens turn bad? Some think it was the motive of their parents' money, but others believe that they were overcome by pure evil, making their story so compelling that most of America was riveted by the headlines all the way through their trial. Whether in reality, like with the Menendez brothers, or in fictional stories and movies, the concept of evil has intrigued mankind throughout history and today. Today we will define evil and explore its daunting impact on the world. Then we will take a look at the changing perception of evil. And finally, we will uncover whether evil is formed by nurture or by nature. Let's start by defining evil. But evil, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. The term itself is subjective, which makes it difficult to truly comprehend what evil really means. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, evil means morally reprehensible. However, Philip Zimbardo, a professor at Stanford University, in his 2008 TED Talk called The Psychology of Evil, defines it differently. He said that evil can be broadly defined as anything to intentionally harm someone psychologically, to hurt someone physically, to destroy someone mortally, or to commit crimes against humanity. An example of evil that fits into this category of a crime against humanity is the 9/11 disaster. Thinking about this event, it's important to comprehend the profound impact it had on our country. Osama bin Laden used evil intentions to create a culture of fear among us. As said by journalist Philip Kennicott of the Washington Post on Osama bin Laden, the fears unleashed by bin Laden reached deep into our daily lives, changing our urban design and architecture, closing down streets, requiring bollards and barricades, planes, trains, and buses changed forever. We let him haunt public space. This is just one example of the type of evil that occurs daily in the world around us. And while these types of examples are easier to identify, we must also look deeper into areas that aren't as obvious, such as evil in pop culture. There are many theories about why evil is so attractive in the world of pop culture. One theory, suggested by psychoanalyst Dr. Carl Jung, suggests that horror films tap into primordial archetypes buried deep into our collective subconscious. What Jung is saying is that all of these evil ideas have always been in our subconscious as humans, yet civilized society forces us to repress these ideas since they're harmful to the world. Author David J. Scal theorizes that horror films are successful due to their relation to our societal fears. Looking at the history of horror, you have mutant monsters rising in the 50s from the fear of the nuclear boogeyman, zombies in the 60s from Vietnam, Nightmare on Elm Street from a mistrust in authority figures stemming from the Watergate scandals, and zombies again in the 2000s as a reflection of viral pandemic fears. Ultimately, these films are a depiction of our worst fears, allowing us to experience the evil things that we're afraid of without actually suffering from the consequences. Historically, man's perception of evil was viewed through the lens of religion. Humans have been preoccupied by evil since the earliest story about humanity, Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Religious theorists of all persuasions ask themselves a version of this question. If God is a perfect being who is only good and all-powerful, how could he let such evil things happen in the world? To philosophers, this is known as the problem of evil and serves as a driving question in religion and as reasoning for skeptics to the idea of God. In order to rectify this problem, Christianity believes it is Satan who has the power for evil, a power almost as equal to the power that God has for good. In Islam and Judaism, on the other hand, God creates all things in the universe, good or evil, for a specific purpose, and by overcoming the evil in the world, their commitment to faith is strengthened, according to BBC. Eventually, however, most intellectual thinkers began to take God out of the evil equation. In the 2002 book, Evil in Modern Thought, author Susan Neiman explains that after the age of enlightenment, people began to think less religiously and more intellectually, and evil began to be interpreted more secularly. People could see no reason for God to bring about such meaningless destruction to the world, so rather the focus turned to man's intention and will. And while interpretations of evil may always be changing, there is one idea that has been and continues to be examined by researchers. Is evil brought upon by nurture or by nature? According to Stanford professor Zimbardo, the answer is that evil is nurtured. He argues that certain situations can cause good people to go bad, and he proved it in his famous 1971 experiment, the Stanford Prison Experiment. The prison simulation had 9 fake prisoners and 9 fake guards, all fully aware that it was only an experiment. It was supposed to last 2 weeks, but due to the shocking effects on the participants, it was called off after only 6 days. The researchers found that the guards would abuse the prisoners and make them do absurd tasks, and many of the prisoners suffered from psychological breakdowns. From this experiment, it is clear that by putting these students in an evil situation, they felt that doing evil things was justified. So evil can be nurtured by certain situations, but are some people just born that way? Paul J. Zak, recognized expert in the chemical oxytocin, has concluded that some people are organically disposed to evil. He found that those who release oxytocin in their brains after a positive interaction are more likely to do a virtuous act. Those who do not release oxytocin after a positive interaction are more likely to act badly. And these people have the characteristics of psychopaths. They do what they want without regard to the well-being of society. So the science of evil is that it can be intrinsic or it can be cultivated. Evil haunts us every day. It reminds us that our world is not perfect. Evil, whether brought upon by nurture or by nature, interpreted religiously or secularly, has influenced our world. From the scary monster that hid under your bed as a kid, to the horror films you see at the movies, to the disturbing news stories, like the ones about the Menendez brothers. It's fair to say that evil will never go away, but that doesn't mean we should stop fighting to live in a world that is peaceful and in a world where the good guy comes out on top. German soccer attacks, Donald Trump talks about North Korea, and a fire in downtown Detroit. All of this and more coming up on WALK News. I'm Caitlin Finnerty, and for the next 5 minutes, I will be walking you through today's top stories. We start in Germany. German authorities arrested a suspect Islamist on Wednesday in connection with Chancellor Angela Merkel, called a despicable attack on a bus carrying players of one of the top country's soccer teams. Merkel said she was appalled by Tuesday evening's incident, in which 3 explosions went off as a Borussia Dortmund bus made its way to a match. Spanish defender Marc Bartra suffered injuries to his arm and wrist. The attack forced a 24-hour postponement of the team's high-profile clash with AS Monaco. An attack on soccer players was successful, but one on the embassies was not. Nigeria's spy agency says it thwarted a plot by militant Islamist groups Boko Haram to attack the UK and US embassies in Abuja. 6 people were arrested last month in connection with the plot, the Department of State Services added. Boko Haram, which is linked to the Islamic State group, has carried out insurgency in Nigeria since 2009. At least 21 people were killed when it carried out a car bomb attack in the United Nations headquarters in 2011. Next, we stroll into national news. President Trump said he is taking action after North Korea's President Kim Jong-un threatened to nuke United States warships. Quote, "We are sending in an armada, very powerful. We have submarines, very powerful, far more powerful than an aircraft carrier. We have the best military people on earth, and I will say this, he is doing the wrong thing," end quote. Trump told this to the Fox Business Network's Maria Bartiromo. Meanwhile, President Trump spoke with President Xi Jinping of China Wednesday over North Korean concerns. He said he was willing to help the United States with North Korea's weapons program. This brings us to today's edition of The Sidewalk, WALK's editorial segment. Please note that the following views expressed are mine and do not reflect WALK News or its affiliates. North Korea has both talked about being friendly with Trump's America and, as seen in these threats, being hostile and even taking military action. This hostility should cause the president to show some signs of further action or plans for the country as a whole towards North Korea, rather than saying that Kim Jong-un as a person may be doing the wrong thing. His talks with Fox News seem unprofessional, and his talks with China may contradict what he is saying to Bartiromo, because he is asking for Chinese help. North Korea has always been a slight threat and something that Trump should address formally in light of what Kim Jong-un has been saying. But it is good that he is taking action through China because they are an ally of North Korea. Therefore, Donald Trump's reaction to military threats were unprofessional in his words with Fox and contradictory with his talks with China. That concludes today's edition of the editorial segment. We continue back in NYC, but first, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them on WALKnews.com. The sculptor who created the Charging Bull statue is accusing New York City of violating his rights by allowing the Fearless Girl statue to be installed without his permission. Attorney Norman Siegel told the Associated Press that the Italian-born sculptor plans to explain his plans to challenge the city officials who allowed the Fearless Girl statue to be installed without his permission on a Wednesday press conference. DeModico installed the Charging Bull statue in front of the New York Stock Exchange in 1987 as a symbol of America's resilience following the stock market crash that year. Next, we finish by jogging into local stories. Detroit police are investigating after a bound body was found at a fire scene Wednesday morning on the city's east side. Police say firefighters were responding to a call of fire on Alma Street. Firefighters found a badly burned body in a driveway. Police say that the victim's hands and feet were also tied up. Police say that the body was found in a driveway of a vacant house, which was also burned. A house under fire, as well as the topic of immigration, is under fire. The Lansing City Council is expected to reconsider the city's stance on immigration Wednesday evening, just over a week after the council members designated the state capital as a sanctuary city. A special meeting has been called for 6:30 p.m. Wednesday that lists 2 items for consideration: rescinding the resolution that declared Lansing a sanctuary city and reaffirming Lansing's status as a welcoming city for immigrants. For your weather, we should see some great sunshine this week with a high of 50 today. For WALK, good night.
Here is your country. Cherish these natural wonders. Theodore Roosevelt said this when talking about America's environment. As a strong proponent of keeping America as pure as it was when people first found it, Theodore Roosevelt worked endlessly to try and preserve America. In 1970, President Richard Nixon created the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, in order to try and focus more on simply protecting America's environment. However, recently there has been a one-sentence proposed bill to try and remove the EPA from the government by the end of 2017. So when asked the question today, what are the implications for the nation if Congressman Gates' one-sentence bill to eliminate the EPA becomes law? The clear answer is that it will cause a further decline on the focus of the environment. We can look at this through three main reasons why. First, we can look at the current environmental threats in the United States. And next, we can examine what the EPA does to counteract these threats. And finally, let's examine the fact that other branches of the government are not going to assume the role that the EPA currently has. First, let's take a look at the environmental threats in the United States. The United States has a variety of environmental threats, but the majority of them are focused around the air quality in the United States. After having two industrial revolutions and numerous factories across the country, the United States is polluting its air. However, the EPA's Clean Air Act created a Clean Air Act to regulate harmful air pollutants, which caused a 75% drop in blood lead levels, according to National Geographic as of December 9th, 2016. So what this means is that blood lead levels were so high that by creating a Clean Air Act, we were able to reduce it down to a quarter of what it originally was. So clearly what is going on with our air currently is having negative effects on the health of the United States. And this is not the only thing that is polluting our air. With the rise of automobiles running on gas, what is happening is that we are further polluting our air. However, the EPA has worked to counteract this as well by setting a legal limit on car emissions to try and protect air quality, according to The Economist as of January 17th. However, this isn't even doing everything, because despite the fact that the EPA has been working to try and improve America's environment since 1970, we still are not where we need to be for safe conditions for the American people. So next, let's examine what the EPA actually does, as in what its goal is to do for America in the future. According to the official site for the EPA, its goal is protecting human health and the environment through regulations and education. So the key aspect of the EPA is not only the regulations, but the education that they seek to do as well. While regulating the environment is regulating the emissions into the environment is important to keep it clean, education is the big factor in the EPA, because that is going to change the future of what our country could be. The EPA also works on trying to help other governments, such as state governments, to try and remove pollutants from America's environment. The EPA has a popular state grant program that funds projects like restoring the Great Lakes and redeveloping former industrial sites, according to the New York Times as of March 15th. So the EPA is not only looking to regulate and educate the environment, but they are looking at ways to aid other governments financially. This would allow them to direct their attention to the environment because they would have the financial means to do so. Finally, let's take a look at how other branches of the government simply cannot assume the role of the EPA. President Donald Trump indicated when he wanted to first cut the EPA that other branches of the government are going to take on this role, specifically those of state governments. He quoted, as quoted by the New York Daily News as of February 5th, "Environmental protection, we waste all of this money. We're going to bring that back to the states." Donald Trump believes that the states are going to assume the federal role of trying to regulate the environment through the EPA. However, the issue is that he does not consider that states' budgets are already stretched too thin, that without this monetary aid from the EPA, they are not going to be able to afford to do so. Additionally, states' agendas have enough on them that they are not going to be able to add the environment to try and take over the role of the EPA. According to the New York Times, as of January 17th, few states can afford to take care of these lands, including wildlife and natural disaster. So what is going to happen is that we are going to see that there is less of a focus on the environment. The federal government is not going to be focusing on the environment because they have removed the EPA and assume that the states will do so. However, the states are not going to be able to do so simply because they do not have the time or resources to actually focus on the environment. Instead, we are going to see that all the governments are going to take no action regarding the protection of the environment, or simply not enough to make any major change. So removing the EPA is only going to do this, and it is going to cause this lessening of focus on the environment. So ultimately, when asked the question today, what are the implications for the nation if Congressman Gates' one-sentence-long bill to eliminate the EPA becomes law? The clear answer is that there will be a declining focus on the environment. We looked at this through three main reasons why. First, we looked at the current environmental threats in the United States and how what the EPA is doing is not enough yet. Next, we looked at the goal of the EPA and how they have parts of it like education and federal funding to help combat pollution. And finally, we looked at the fact that other branches of the government are not going to assume this role due to time and financial constraints. So Teddy Roosevelt talked about how amazing America's environment was. However, with the removal of the EPA, America's environment will no longer be a natural wonder. It will simply be polluted due to no focus on keeping it alive. Thank you.
In the days leading up to Father's Day, I decided to check my father's closet to see if I could find some inspiration for a gift. I gotta say though, I was shocked by his belt collection. They were old, worn out, and with self-punched holes reflecting apparently my dad's contracting and expanding waist size. And worst of all, it looked like my dad thought that the same style belt should be worn for every occasion. So I had hit pay dirt. A belt. I will simply buy him a belt. And then I did what any other self-respecting teen gift buyer would do. After asking my mom for the money to buy the gift, I went over to Google to discover the very best belt that I could buy. On my allowance money. Okay, yes, my mom turned me down, but what turned up was the Mission Belt Company. The Mission Belt Company is hands down the most convenient, stylish, and affordable solution to each and every one of my dad's belt problems, and now your belt problems too. Mission belts are made with only the smoothest and most quality crafted leathers, the most innovative and easiest to handle buckles, and a one-of-a-kind style. Today, we will go through the loops of the history of the Mission belt, try on the many different styles and sizes available for purchase, strap on the competition, and finally see how this innovative belt company is on a philanthropic mission as well. Mission belts began with three men, Nate Holdzapfel, Zach Holdzapfel, and Jeff Jensen. They had an obsession with breaking the cycle of poverty in areas so significantly stricken by it. Manufacturing and selling innovative belts was their brainstorm. Why? Because of what we all know is true. Everyone needs a good belt. And they also felt that the belt was a forgotten and tired accessory that desperately needed a new makeover. So, the ideas of eradicating poverty as well as a new and improved belt came together, and the Mission Belt Company was born. When you purchase a Mission belt, you purchase a unique experience from the accurate sizing process to all of the style choices as well as to the efficiency of wearing the belt itself. Let me show you what I mean. Here is Mission Belt's gorgeous silver and tan belt from their Browns collection. Now, if I want to take the belt off, all I have to do is pull on this convenient release lever attached to the side of the buckle and pull out the strong leather strap. Now, if I want to put the belt back on for obvious reasons, All I would then have to do is insert the brown strap back into the buckle and wait for a convenient clicking sound that tells me that my perfect fit has been obtained. The clicking sound helps us find the perfect fit every time and saves us time fiddling with the right hole while we're getting dressed in the morning. These clicks are not just a gimmick. They assure an accurate fit to a much more precise 1/4 inch as opposed to all other belts which space their notches a full inch apart. Think about how nice it'll be to be able to adjust your belt to accommodate that slightly large lunch you ate. And when you buy a Mission belt, you don't just receive an accurate and easy fit. The styling options are endless as well. This is because the buckle and strap of a Mission belt are indeed detachable, so customers can mix and match, and I can assign this silver, shiny belt buckle to the strap of, let's say, a nice and sleek gray one as often as I please. Mission belt works with over 15 different colored straps along with variously designed buckles in hues such as gold, silver, pink, white, and navy blue. So customers can exercise their creativity to the absolute max. Not to mention, Mission Belt also offers countless belt alternatives to all of you sport lovers and team enthusiasts out there. That is right, there is an NHL hockey collection, an NBA basketball collection, and an NCAA college belts collection. And I bet you are thinking that all of this variety, size specificity, and style can't come without a cost, but you can purchase a Mission belt for a very affordable $34.95, buckle and strap included. And with styles available for men, women, and children, it is easy to see how Mission belt will truly be able to answer all of your belt needs. Too busy to go all the way to the mall to shop? Luckily, Mission belt is online, so customers can shop from the comfort of their very own couches. Just log on to missionbelt.com and start shopping for the belt that literally changed the belt. Now, Mission Belt has undoubtedly achieved its goal of innovating the belt market. You simply cannot find a more stylish, better fitting, and better quality belt out there on the market. Let's look at 2 popular belt brands out there. The British Belt Company, found in Target stores, and Ralph Lauren, found in major department stores. But what do you really find? The same non-detachable buckle, holes placed a full inch apart, allowing for no customization of fit, and price tags ranging from $45 to over $100 for one belt. But even if you do decide to spend top dollar for a belt, say several hundred for Ralph Lauren style, you still will find yourself locked into a single buckle with sizing as well as pricing not customizable. Unlike Mission Belt, on the other hand, which simply whips the competition when it comes to style, size, variety, and price. And you don't even have to take my word for it. Mission Belt has been called a no-brainer wardrobe accessory by Forbes magazine and a perfect fit by Golf Digest. But perhaps their highest compliment came from Gear Patrol when they said, "People with pants, your world is about to change." But Mission Belt isn't just changing the world for those of us with pants. The company has taken a whole new approach to fighting hunger and poverty across the globe. Mission Belt offers a portion of its profits in order to support business entrepreneurs in lesser developed countries. The company originated this idea when it realized that a little could actually go a long way. Mission Belt's first microloan was given to a Mr. Luis Melendez, who was injured and who could no longer work his physically taxing labor job in Panama. The Mission Belt Company helped Luis buy a bus that he used to take people from his small village to more lucrative jobs in the nearby city. And today, Luis owns 3 buses, and the Mission Belt Company is on its way to giving small loans to ambitious people in desperate circumstances. To date, the company has funded over 50,000 unique loans across the entire globe. It is nice to know that with every belt that we buy, we are helping the Mission Belt Company improve the lives of those less fortunate than we are. Today, we became enlightened about the Mission Belt Company, its superior product, its unique history, as well as its unique mission to deliver a quality belt at an even higher quality price. The Mission Belts make amazing gifts. Believe me, my dad loved it. It was awesome getting to see the smile on his face when he opened the box. And I don't think he is ever going to miss those ratty old belts that I took out of his closet and put in our family's donation box. And the great thing about the Mission Belt Company is now that with every belt that you buy, a smile will go on your face, a stranger out there in the world's face, if you're buying it as a gift, on that person's face, but also on mine, because you took my advice. those are a lot of smiles to disregard, don't you think? So don't get caught with your pants down. Instead, buy a mission belt today.
Russia taunts the U.S. President Trump doubles down on his Buy American, Hire American agenda, and the new superintendent for the Detroit Community Schools is announced. All this and more coming up on WAGE News, Waging a War Against Inaccuracy. I'm Jack Rolton. We begin this afternoon's broadcast with exciting news from Egypt. Egyptian archaeologists have unearthed several mummies, colorful wooden sarcophagi, and more than 1,000 funerary statues in a 3,500-year-old tomb near the city of Luxor, hailed as an important discovery. Antiquities officials had initially said 6 mummies, along with partial remains, were discovered near the southern city, but said they had later identified 2 more mummies. The 18th dynasty tomb, discovered in the Dran Abdul Naga necropolis near the famed Valley of Kings, belonged to a nobleman who worked as a city judge. And as scientists discover mummies, the U.S. discovers Russia near its borders. The U.S. military said it intercepted 2 Russian bombers in international airspace off Alaska's coast on Monday. The Russian planes flew within 100 miles of Alaska's Kodiak Island, with American fighter jets escorting the Russian bombers for 12 minutes. The bombers then flew back to eastern Russia. It is unclear what these events will detail for Russian and American relations. And while tensions rise abroad, they overflow into violence right here at home. A Fresno man known for advocating black separatism and making militant comments on social media shot and killed 3 people in downtown Fresno on Tuesday before surrendering to authorities and uttering the phrase Allahu Akbar. The suspect was identified as Corey Ali Muhammad, a 39-year-old man who was wanted in connection with the shooting death of a security guard outside a motel Tuesday. Dyer said all the victims were white men, and 2 of the men were clients of a local Catholic charity where Tuesday's attack took place. And controversy isn't just surrounding violent attacks here at home. It's also hitting the Trump administration. President Trump signed an executive order Tuesday that would tighten rules that award visas to skilled foreign workers and directs the federal government to enforce rules that bar foreign contractors from bidding on federal projects. The order is the first effort to promote a Buy American, Hire American agenda, a key promise President Trump made during the campaign. Speaking at the headquarters of Wisconsin-based toolmaker Snap-on, Trump said that the order declares that the policy of our government is to aggressively promote American-made goods and ensure that American labor is hired to do the job. And now to WAGE's War Room, where I give you my take on the news and determine whether we should wage war on issues facing the nation. Please note that these views are those solely of the broadcaster and do not necessarily reflect those of WAGE News or its affiliates. Trump's executive order is, in short, simply misguided and non-reflective of his Buy American, Hire American agenda. It is administrative in nature and not a policy shift or even a policy proposal. And to say that it is in support of a Buy American, Hire American agenda is just wrong. Ultimately, as we've said, Trump's executive order is only administrative. It only asks for federal assessments of buying American and hiring American already existing in the federal government. And it also only calls on the agency heads of the federal government to come up with ideas to support such an agenda. It doesn't actually outline that this is the new policy of the federal government, nor does it detail specific ways in which this policy will be enacted. Instead, it's a starting block to enact a Buy American, Hire American proposal. And as a result, it's incorrect to say that it is a policy shift or that it is a Buy American, Hire American agenda being enacted. Exiting the war room into local news, Flint Mayor Karen Weaver said Tuesday she is recommending the city keep getting its drinking water from the regional Detroit area water system to avoid problems and save millions of dollars after the lead contamination crisis. And Mayor Weaver isn't the only Michigander making important decisions this week. Dr. Nikolai Vitti was selected Tuesday evening to be the superintendent of Detroit Public Schools Community District. The Detroit School Board voted 6-1 for Vitti, the current superintendent of the Duval County Public Schools. And a new superintendent isn't the only thing coming to Detroit. A bevy of NCAA championship events will be heading to Detroit in the coming years. Breezing through your weather, unseasonably warm weather lies ahead, but it's coming with chances of thunderstorms. That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in.
There's a
special kind of people known as show people. I feel that spotlight hits me and I'm gone. At the last curtain call, I'm the envy of all. So I know the show must
go on.
So thrilling, the show people.
Kiss me while you can, boys. I'm bidding you farewell. Farewell. I'm bidding you farewell. And
so thrilling, the show people go on. Curtains.
Book by Robert Holmes.
Music and lyrics by Fred Ebb and John Kander.
Out of my way! This entire evening was shambles. I don't know what I'm doing in this show.
So I know.
I was distracted all night long by some guy in the front row who kept waving his hands at me.
That was the conductor. Jessica, you all right?
Shall I call a doctor? She's got a palsy.
Man, that's the first time Jessica ever kept a beat.
Guys, can you help carry her?
Why not? We've already been carrying her performance all night.
A woman's
definitely,
positively do. Oh my God!
Holy Mother in heaven!
Jesus!
What, the reviews aren't good? What don't they like?
That we put on a show.
This one says calls to mind Walt Disney's Pinocchio. Because its star is wooden, ought to be hung by a piano wire and swallowed by the first whale that enters Boston Harbor.
Who said that?
The Christian Science Monitor.
Is there no limit?
Sounds like our director.
Is there no limit to my unbridled brilliance? What is the most god-awful thing in our show? Jessica, come in. I came back here to convince you to get rid of our star, only to find out she's in the hospital. Speaking of, they've left a message.
Jessica Cranshaw will never be better than she was last night. She's dead.
What? Shall we observe a minute of silence to match the audience's response to all of Jessica's numbers?
Challenge!
Now look, she could have died weeks ago and saved us a month of misery, but Jessica's role must be appropriately filled.
Excuse me, everyone. I just had a thought.
Oh, how long we've waited for this day.
As Jessica's understudy, I'd feel terrible taking over under these circumstances.
No need to feel terrible, Nikki, because you're still the understudy.
What?
To Georgia.
Georgia's my partner.
That is brilliant.
As one would expect from me. Aaron is our composer. I assume this meets your approval?
No, to be honest, it doesn't. I think Nikki would be a great lead.
Of course, you have always put other women before me.
What's that supposed to mean? I never flirted with anyone once we got married.
Barbara O'Brien.
Oh, come on. She was an usher. And that's only after you moved out.
Oh, so you finally decided to look up from your music and noticed I was gone.
So what's the whole deal with this Barbara O'Brien thing,
Oh, nothing. Don't worry about it. Aaron would never stoop so low as to cheat on me, the lowly usher.
So what's the deal with this Barbara O'Brien thing? Well, she was this usher I met who just had the biggest personality.
Carmen, where was your husband tonight?
Sydney's in New York nailing a theater for us, and knowing my husband, also nailing an usher.
You too?
Why does love make people feel so bad?
Life is full of setbacks and disappointments, as my husband first demonstrated in the bridal suite.
Okay, not all men are like that, Nikki. You'll find the right guy, I'm sure of it.
And here's a little piece of advice.
When love goes
away, don't blow your breath away. You might find out he's just a bottom and kiss away.
Then if you flip away,
rotate your hip away.
Just wait and see, I guarantee your man won't slip away. If there's a span away,
don't throw your hat away.
Forget that fight and hold him tight till he gets that away.
Wow, you guys have great relationship advice.
Too bad it doesn't work for us.
Excuse me, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Frank Chiaffi, homicide of the Greater Boston Police. I saw your production earlier and might just say you're all such brilliant performers, and what a great score. Well, I appreciate that, Lieutenant.
On behalf of my half of that compliment, thanks as well.
Wait one moment. You'll say you're from homicide?
Well, yes. Based on Jessica's autopsy, it's clear to me that she was murdered. Was murdered!
Oh my God! And what are they doing with her killer? Is he getting a trophy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
My script.
Lieutenant? Oh, all right. The killer fired the capsule of hydrogen cyanide into her mouth as she sang, which is why no one realized she'd been poisoned. Oh, horrible. Moving on, I'm sorry to inform you all, but this theater is quarantined. Oh, and none of you can leave.
Normally I'd say over my dead body, but I don't want to give anybody ideas.
Listen, Jessica Cranshaw never left the stage before she died. I'm very sorry, but she had to have been killed by someone in this show.
Lieutenant, may I speak to you for a moment? My name's
Harris, Miss Nikki Harris. I read over your bio several times and might just say I found your performance particularly memorable.
Well, thank you.
It was just lovely.
Well, thank you.
I'm crazy about your little, vibrato.
Oh, anyway, I wanted to tell you that these death threats fell out of Jessica's script. Did you need something else from me?
No, but I do have some questions for your boyfriend.
I don't have a boyfriend.
Oh my God! I mean, oh my God. I don't mean seem bold, but may I walk you out?
I'd be delighted, but you said we're not allowed to leave.
Damn! Hey, excuse me, mind telling me who you are and how you got here? I'm Lieutenant French.
Oh, as a member of the press.
Homicide!
Okay, anyway, I'm exempt from your quarantine, Lieutenant. Daryl Grady, Boston Globe. The show's producer asked me to pay a visit.
That's me, Carmen Bernstein, Mr. Grady. You have our thanks for stopping by, if not for your horrible review.
Listen, I try to say my level best about something good in your show. I praised that young woman, Nikki, but it's all history now.
Carmen, how many hours do we have left before we are reviewed again by...
Daryl Grady of the Boston Globe.
Daryl Grady? You're not what I pictured. But then again, I've never seen a picture of you.
Complete anonymity is a critic's best tool.
Well, I guess I shouldn't bite the hand that slaps
What
me.
he's trying to say is we'd like for you to review the show again with Georgia Hendricks in the lead.
Georgia Hendricks, your lyricist? That's some story. All right, tell you what, I'll review it again tomorrow night.
Tomorrow?
It's the best I can do, and keep in mind, not many shows survive 2 bad reviews from the Globe in 1 week.
Oh, I don't believe it. Mr. Daryl Grady? May I thank you for the kind words you wrote about me?
Miss Harris, I try not to associate myself with the artists I review, but let me say, you did stand out.
Mr. Grady, I thought your review was needlessly cruel.
Well, I'm not sure you know how to judge acting, Lieutenant. Nice seeing you, Mickey.
And how's your investigation coming along?
Oh, it's getting interesting, but this is no place to talk. Let's you me get out of here for a while.
But you still won't let me leave.
Damn! You know, Nikki, when I first saw you, I thought to myself, you and I, we could be a tough act to follow. Can't you see special people doing special things? Running rings around any pair, anywhere.
Lieutenant, I've just been informed I have less time to reinvent the show than Moses had to cross the Red Sea, and he had God on his side!
True, we're getting reviewed tomorrow?
I guess we have no choice but to reblock in the same boat here and now. Lieutenant, would you mind replacing our captain? He's out sick.
Of course, I've always wanted to be on stage with professionals.
Professionals. Right. Okay, everybody from the top.
The waves are lapping a lot. The sharks are snapping a lot. The thunder's clapping a lot. Just hear it roar. Just hear it roar. And there's no doubt in the world. We'll stay in love. 'Cause it's yours to win. Take it all on the chin when you're in the same boat.
How'd you like it? I hate it.
Aaron, I thought you were going to write us a better version of In the Same Boat.
We just played the new one, didn't you hear it?
I did. Evan, I thought you were going to write us a better version of In the Same Boat.
We need a completely new composition, one that's catchier than Pink Eye.
Listen, Belling, if you want me to come up with anything, you have to find me some alone time with my piano and my writing partner.
Fine, but you can't have Georgia. If she doesn't get to every number under her belt tonight, then we're all finished. Company to the theater. That should buy you your alone time.
Alone?
Yeah, it must be quite a challenge where your writing partner George is
otherwise preoccupied.
So the composer suggests staying away from love.
At all costs, you'll just be about the heartbreak and strife when you find that you're missing your...
Missing?
What?
You were saying what you missed.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna go before you start singing to me or something like that.
No need to ask me what I prefer. I choose the music. I wrote with her. I like the music. I laid with her.
Aaron? Oh, sorry, am I interrupting something?
Oh, no, I was just leaving. Thank you, Mr. Fox, for all the insights. Yeah,
Aaron, I didn't know you felt the same way. You were always preoccupied with your music.
Because our songs were the one place you and I were still together.
Aaron, you said our songs.
I missed the music. I missed my friend.
I missed my friend.
No need to wonder what I would do. I choose the music I make with you. I love the music I make with you. It's been a long time, Georgia.
It really has.
Heads up! We're striking the set. I mean, come quick. There's been a second murder.
Oh, my
Who
God.
was it? Carmen's husband, Sidney Bernstein. You know, he came in town today for rehearsal. I think we were all in the theater when I said we were striking the set.
We were all in the theater when I said...
Heads up, we're striking the set.
Is something wrong?
Good question. Why is there no curtain?
Belling, what's that?
My God, raise the curtain, quick! It's Sidney Bernstein. He's dead.
He's dead, Bishop!
Oh my God!
What is wrong with you people? We were all in the theater when I said...
The last words I heard from him were...
We're going to Broadway, no matter what that Daryl Grady writes.
You should come with me. Everybody's pretty upset.
Hey, Nikki, it's me.
Daryl Grady? What are you still doing here?
Forget I report on theater as well as review it for the Globe.
With Sydney and Jessica dead, there's no way we're going to Broadway. After all, we got such horrendous reviews. But the Globe is the review we need. Do you think you could write something good about the show?
I don't know, Nikki.
For me?
I'd do anything for you. I'd kill for you.
I have to go on set, Daryl. And thanks.
I've just analyzed a forensics file on Sid Bernstein's body.
Oh, like the science?
No, the speech and debate.
Chaffee, you're gonna protect me, right? There's already been 2 murders on this stage.
3 if you count the integrity of musical theater.
You should really get something to eat. If you're nervous, Carmen, I'll taste your food for you.
You have no taste, Nikki. I've seen your makeup, your closet, your boyfriends. And I've seen a couple of your boyfriends in the closet with your makeup!
Anyways, we found a death threat in the director's office, so it looks like Belling is my first official murder suspect.
Well, it's an honor just to be nominated. But just to let you know, Daryl Grady was in my office earlier. He smelled slightly of hydrogen cyanide, and he kept on chanting, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him! But, you know, I don't know his personal life.
My God, that's it! I've solved it! Belling!
I did it! Sorry, I always take credit for everything.
Never mind. Carmen, where were you the night Jessica was murdered?
Well, on the bows, I had to give Jessica these flowers. She demanded a bouquet at every performance. She also demanded we play the Star Spangled Banner for her, so she was guaranteed a standing ovation.
And did anyone notice anything different on opening night?
Well, now that you mention it, I think when she took the flowers, she was choking.
I saw that too. It happened right after she got the second bouquet from a man wearing a tuxedo.
Well, maybe it was someone who genuinely liked Jessica's performance.
Mr. Belling, where were you the night Jessica was murdered?
Well, I went to the hairdressers to look beautiful.
They must have been close.
Aaron, where were you the night Jessica was murdered?
I can vouch for him. I was with him the entire time.
Well, if you all have alibis, then that only leaves one person to blame. Nikki's devoted admirer, determined to bring down the show because if she went to Broadway, she'd forever leave him. It must be the Boston Globe senior critic, Daryl Grady. Wait, where's Nikki?
Or no one will ever want to see her face again.
Easy, Daryl.
Easy for you to say. She loves you. She never loved me.
Frank, I swear.
Shut up.
But she does know you, Daryl, doesn't she? Your picture's never been published, and yet she walked right up to you to thank you for the compliments you paid her.
I wanted her to be successful, but now without me in her life, I couldn't let her leave Boston.
Well, I see you're out of guns, Mr. Grady. How far do you think you could get without one?
Good point. Give me yours, or she gets it.
Okay, Daryl, whatever you say.
Move. Get down.
All right, Daryl, I'm gonna take Nikki away from you now.
You already have. Take one step and you're dead. Fine, you're dead.
No.
Don't worry, Nikki. I always unload the bullets in my shoulder holster gun so I can put the bullets in this gun. Come here, Mr. Grady. You're under arrest.
God, why didn't I see this coming?
Because I don't think you know how to judge acting, Mr. Grady.
Aaron, are you okay?
Yeah, Georgia, I'm fine. I was so worried about you. I love you, Georgia.
I love you too.
Any final notes before we raise the curtain, Lieutenant?
Nikki and I do have a few ideas.
Imagine you doing my job. That wouldn't be pretty.
Nice going, Chaffee. They're putting Daryl Grady away for life. And you know what? I think my husband would have died to see this show go on. And he did. Ha!
Swell acting, Lieutenant, and not just on a community theater level. I mean college.
Oh, well, thank you.
And now that the mystery's solved, what happens to our relationship?
Well, maybe we can discuss this after tonight's show. There's this little coffee shop I know of downtown.
Frank, we have a date!
Damn!
Frank, I said yes.
But whatever you do, don't reveal who killed who, or it just might be curtains for you. So thrilling the show, people go on.